one years and years ago, back in 2010.
But hasn't he just got a brand new car?
He hasn't got a brand new car, no.
He's got an Alfa Romeo.
It's new to him. No, it's not Alfa Romeo. It's a Skoda.
Yeah, that says it all, doesn't it? Really. I told him, why did he spend money on a Skoda?
Most people told him that. I said to him, if it's a car you love, go for it, mate.
Yeah, it's like going to like a shelter to pick up a dog, which is good, you know.
Yeah.
Like taking on an old dog's great, but it's like you pick up a dog that's already wearing a nappy, and then you're like, oh, I just pissed all over my house. That's what you've done, Ash.
Facts. I mean, every time his car breaks, which has been a significant number of times, considering he's owned it a month and a half, 2 months, he is going into things to correctly allow himself to be ridiculed.
Yeah,
and he puts a statement there, putting it here first, so you can all let the piss out of me, and then he's asking questions. So yeah, I wouldn't spend it on gifteds, Ash. Jesus, you're going to need it for your car. To be fair, mate, I had an Audi years ago, and it was renowned, like Audis before are renowned for coolant leaks, and considering it's a Skoda, it's part of the VAG group, the VW Audi group. So it's likely a similar issue.
That's why you said VAG.
It was a minor seal problem. If you bought it a month and a half ago, I'm assuming you've got minimum 3 months warranty on it, because new purchase, probably 6 months. Just get it in the garage as fast as you can and say, not really good enough, is it this? I've had it not very long, and this is the second defect.
Did you buy it from a...
he bought it from a dealership, yes.
You get 3 months warranty minimum.
Minimum 3, isn't it? That's what I thought it was, yeah. So just get it in, mate. I'm sure you'll be fine. I think he bought it mid-Jan, so, you know, mid-Feb, mid-April, mid-March, mid-April. So get it in, you'll be fine. I can't see it being stupidly expensive either. But if you leave it and you run out of coolant, that will get expensive.
Oh, yeah. Cars are so annoying, aren't they?
Cars are a money sink.
I spent like 500 quid on my car last year just to like make sure I don't die, essentially.
Yeah, it's one of the only things where you buy it and for the majority, unless you somehow manage to get yourself one of those rare ones that becomes really desirable later on, they just depreciate and cost you money.
Exactly.
Nothing else.
Yeah. Don't say like it drops 10% the moment you drive it off the forecourt.
If you buy brand new, yes.
Yeah. Never buy brand new.
If you buy brand new, it drops more than that. I never buy brand new.
I've never ever.
Refuse.
Do you know where's a really good place to buy second-hand cars, apparently? Is Isle of Wight.
Is it, really?
Yeah. Because apparently there's something in the air that makes them rust a little bit. So if you don't mind a little bit of rust, like... And it's like minimal.
It's called salt.
There's definitely something in the air.
They get, if you don't mind a salty car, right, Isle of Wight. Although do remember you got to pay like 100 quid to get it on a ferry.
So it's not just Isle of Wight; it's anything coastal. But obviously Isle of Wight, the whole fucking thing's basically coastal. So that's why
you'd have to go to the Isle of Wight, which is by far the worst part of that.
I like the Isle of Wight.
I like the Isle of Wight. My partner's mum lives on the Isle of Wight.
I'm not commenting about the people.
She lives.
Fair.
She's literally like a 5-minute drive from an alpaca farm.
Is this where all the wishes come from?
Joe's just showed his hand there.
Yeah.
He's revealed his secrets.
And it's got loads of other. It's got alpacas. You can walk a llama and alpaca around it a couple of times. And they've got pigs and sheep and stuff.
There you go. Okay, beautiful. Anyway, welcome back to the channel, you wonderful human beings. Thank you so much for joining us for the second stream of March. I am joined by the wondrous, beautiful Joe and the deep-voiced, aggressive Tom.
Yes.
Tabletop aggressive, at least.
Only tabletop so far.
Yeah.
If Joe says wait to me one more time, now I don't know.
Tom learned a very important lesson today.
Yeah.
Right? Never premature wee.
No?
Did it twice.
You did. He did.
No, I went roll the dice and roll terribly.
Yeah. Oh, no, you didn't do that.
I've learned,
and then he did it again, and then rolled hit once out of like 4 dice.
Yeah, Joe's been teaching me how to weigh properly to really annoy your opponent. Essentially, is what he goes for.
You've got to wait till the look of like pain on your opponent's face, and then you do it,
and then rub it in.
So you do something really good or really uncalled for or really like brutal, and then normally you'll carry on. And if you see a little bit of their soul leave their body when it happens, then you go wee just to rub it in. All right, Joe.
One day you'll do that, and someone will full on hit you.
Yeah, it'll be worth it.
Yeah, Tom needs another light.
No, because then you double win, because then they get kicked out and you technically win the round.
I could put more out on Tom.
I understand why you do it now. It's just so you can get an auto win.
If you can goad your opponent into physically assaulting you, they get kicked out and you get a win.
100-0, yeah.
This is assuming that a ref will actually do something.
Oh, yeah, that's the problem.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much, Ash, for the 5 gifted memberships.
Thanks, Ash. I hope your car does get fixed. What I hope they do, right, is they take your car off you and then offer you a new, less shit one.
There's a strong hope for 5 gifted, but I'm here for it. Okay.
Joy's like, Ash, I understand the pain. I bought my previous car, which was a Fiat Punto. I bought it from... It was a nice Fiat Punto as well. Bought it from a garage in Bristol, right? And at the time I lived in Melksham, which is near Chippenham. Driving down the M4, the inner wheel arch, the plastic cover, came loose on part of it and was grinding on my tyre. So then I had to basically cut the inner wheel arch out of the inside of my car on the side of the M4 with a knife.
After just buying it?
After literally just buying it. And I just drove all the way back. And they were like, I will refit it for you. And I was like, you can't. Because of the big, long, straight / wonky line in it where I cut it off. So, we'll order you a new one. And they replaced it. And then literally... I took it back and they replaced the wheel arch as I mooched around Bristol for a while, a couple of days later. And then basically a couple of days later after I got home, it was fine. The engine light came on. I was so angry. Took it, yeah. Yeah, so I feel your pain, Ash. It is annoying.
We've all had a shit car at some point, I think.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of shit cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine you've had a lot.
Anywho, welcome back to the channel, you wonderful human beings. Thank you, Ash, for the 5 gifts to kick us off, you absolute hero. One of the greatest ways to support the channel is gifted memberships, like those crazy people did last night as well. So thank you for that, you're a legend. If you did get gifted a membership, !Discord, come and join us in the Discord server, you wonderful humans. Everybody else, if you want to support us, you can gift memberships, you can become a member, you can hit that like, that subscribe, and that button notification icon for us. Or you can do what Dan's done in Super Chat, and we'll get to those a little bit later on. But what we're going to talk about to start with is these new fancy tomes that Joe and I and Tom all have next to us right now. These Emperor's Children Codexes.
We've only got 2, not 3.
Yeah, but there's one between me and Tom, so we're all...
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
So the Emperor's Children Codex, from the new box, which is a very pretty box, I might add. It's sold out in quite a lot of places. Is not a surprise, and we got this through quite a while ago, actually. In fact, we were very lucky, thank you, GW, we were very lucky that we had 2 of these sent to us, so that we can actually field some Emperor's Children tonight. So what you're going to see tonight, unlike other channels, what you will see tonight is Emperor's Children only using the box contents plus other available parts that are standard Chaos Marine bits that Emperor's Children can still use. We haven't decided to proxy Flawless Blades yet, or the Lord Cacophonist, or Lucius, or Fulgrim. We're going to wait until those models are released, and then you'll start to see them get bought into the faction as well. So we'll talk a bit about the box, but what I want to talk about predominantly is this, because as always, there's no real point doing a review video and dropping it at the same time that everyone else does on Saturday. So this gives us a chance to let you digest it a bit, get to today, and then we can talk about our first impressions on this book. I have read through it. Tom has played against it, knows it a bit. Joe is playing with it. Joe decided to dibs Emperor's Children, which I was fine with. I like the Codex. I like the models. I'm not that bothered about him. I was quite okay with it.
I wanted to run Emperor's Children before they kind of got announced.
Yeah.
I just
thought it was cool.
Before it was cool.
Yeah.
But I was also incredibly poor, so I couldn't afford the Forge-Roll stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think everyone could realistically afford that.
Well, no. It's quite pricey to do that. So we're going to talk about the book, our first impressions, and whether it is, in the words of, I can't remember the author for the book, Fulgrim, perfection.
Perfection.
Because that was like every third word in that book,
You get a
wasn't it?
drinking game.
What, in Fulgrim?
Yeah. If you did it as a drinking game, you would be drunker than you on Beachhead Friday.
Yeah. Well, it's quite nice. I'm listening to the Eidolon book.
Any good?
And it's really good.
Okay.
For a start, he doesn't say the word perfection constantly. In fact, he hasn't even said it once.
Okay.
For the entire book. And it's voiced by Toby Longworth, who doesn't make Eidolon sound like a Saturday morning cartoon baddie.
I do like.
Yeah.
I like Toby Longworth. He does good audio.
Because like all the other books of Eidolon, they make him sound like Dick Dastardly or like Gargamel from the Smurfs.
Like in Angel Exterminatus, he just sounds like he's been fully brain damaged.
Yeah, and it's like this guy's the first captain of the Emperor's Children. He should be a badass. I'm not a badass in the books.
I'm really sad that he's not in the Codex.
Yeah.
Is he? I know he got his head cut off, but obviously that didn't really stop him.
Yeah.
Is he actually dead now or not?
Well, the chat was saying that he's still alive, and I'm basically my goal at the moment is to try and find him. It's like, where's Wally? Like,
okay.
What book can I find him in by listening to it?
Is the Eidolon book during the Heresy or after?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And also, Eidolon does have one of the best character models from Forge World, and I kind of want it to run as one of the Lord Exultants.
Okay.
Because it just looks badass.
It is cool.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a fan of it.
Yeah.
And you probably do want 3 Lord Exalteds.
Well, there's a great enhancement in my favourite detachment, which would be fitting for him, which gives him the +1 attack, +1 damage.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because then that's kind of suitable for a Thunder Hammer.
That would be cool, yeah. We need more hammers.
We need more hammers. So we have this book. We have an army rule which we'll talk about. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, Custodian Tower players. 5, 6 detachments because Emperor's Children, which I think, considering the lack of data sheets, is a lot of detachments.
I thought they'd get at most 4. I thought they might honestly get 3.
Yeah. I think 4 for the number of units that are in this book would have been reasonable.
4's okay.
4 also matches what Tower got before Grotmus, matches what Custodians got before Grotmus, etc. 6 is a lot.
It's a lot for a brand new army that has essentially like 6 unique data sheets.
Now I read through this. I'll talk quickly, and then I'll get your impressions, Joe, because you're the one that's playing with it.
Yeah.
I read through this book, and when I first read through this book and I read through the detachments and stratagems, I was like, "Oh my shit, they are a bit good." Okay, Nothing is really bad. There's a couple of detachments that are okay. There's a couple that are good, and there's a couple that I was like, "That's mental." I then went through the unit data sheets and was like, "Okay." I can see some of the balancing coming in here. They perhaps aren't as good as I was expecting them to be. Flawless blades, for example, don't quite match up to 8-bound in damage output. But then you put them in detachments, they sing quite nicely. They're not bad units, they're good units, but they're not like definitely want 18 all the time, no matter what. And I looked at some of the points values, and I was like, okay, I can see that actually I think this is actually a very good job of being relatively well balanced.
Yeah.
I don't think it is OP or overpowered or mental. Nowhere near there at all.
Not.
I actually think that I am surprised how many different levels of playability this Codex has when it only has 22 data sheets or whatever.
Yeah.
I was very impressed by it. It's lacking, I think, in the shooting department quite heavily. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Emperor's Children players heavily allying in Chaos Knight Brigands. Yeah. I think that's going to happen. Because at the moment they've only really got Noise Marines because they don't even have the Predators and they don't have Forge Fiends, which is mental. Yeah. Their melee output is decent. Their battle line units are very good, I think. And Lucius fucking slaps. Although we have very different opinions on how he's run.
Yeah.
Can I guess who wants the Lone Op and who wants the Giant Brick of Murder?
You can, yes.
Giant Brick of Murder.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want Lone Op and fights first.
Yeah.
Fulgrim is one where I was concerned about Fulgrim when I heard Games Workshop on their announcement video say, we won a one with Angron 20 million times and Fulgrim won every time. And then I read the rules and was like, that was marketing speech for please buy Fulgrim.
Yeah,
as they always do,
because it's all... I don't feel like the people that are writing the articles have read the rules, or they've read the rules but don't understand the game.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because they were like, because there was that post they put out the other day where it's like, how many guard infantry could this person kill?
That was when Angron came out. They said on average, like, how many guard infantry does he kill? And it was like 20.
And then in the new one, they were like, Fulgrim's box is like twice the size of Angron's.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. He's good. Like they're both good.
If you use Joe maths, it does kill Angron every time.
Yeah.
If you use actual statistics, it's probably like a 50-50 at best.
Yeah, it's like if you hit every time, wound every time, roll max damage every time, you'll kill Angron if you ignore the fact that Angron does have a save.
Yeah, the 4-up one is the problem with that. Yeah.
And Angron can get a feel no pain as well.
Yeah, and also, like, he's just hitting and wounding normally. Maybe sustain hits. That's the only boost he can get, really.
Yeah. I don't think Fulgrim is an auto-include. I like him a lot because he's a nice model. Like when we get
what's your preference? Is your preference the Forge World model or the plastic one? Which one do you prefer? Because if your preference is the Forge World one, I could get you the Forge World and I'll just keep the plastic one for myself.
I think I like both.
Right. That's a very Joe answer.
Yeah.
I do.
I want all of them.
Do you want ice cream or brownie? Both.
I was honest about Angron.
I do
the
like.
new one.
I like the Forge-World model, but I feel like it's going to be a nightmare to build and paint and travel.
I think the spear makes it difficult. If you put the swords on, it's not too
Every
bad.
time I've seen people try and build the Forge-World one, like they got the resin and the wings are all like bent everywhere.
Don't you have a person who makes Forge or stuff for you?
Yeah,
anyway?
I mean, I'd probably build it myself, and just because it's not like building a Thunderhawk where like it's like you're trying to lift weights whilst build at the same time because it's massive and super heavy.
It's literally super heavy, Joe.
It's literally
It is.
I think
Got him.
I think he's really, really good, but I don't think he's not going to include like.
Oh,
The
okay.
difference is right between him and Angron, right? Is that in the Emperor's Children, if you don't have him in the army still functions really, really well. Whereas if you have Angron in the army, you have to just build entirely around him, don't you?
Yeah, Angron. The big difference, I think, is that Angron affects the army with his rules, whereas Fulgrim, which is quite lore accurate.
Yeah, it's quite selfishly just blobbing around.
Yeah, it's full selfish. Just only gives himself stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas Angron gives everyone like reroll hits or +1 a charge, and potentially just comes back to life occasionally,
Yeah.
which is quite nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Fulgrim doesn't actually benefit anything at all apart from himself,
That's
as you
why.
say.
Yeah.
Like,
But obviously, he does get the army rules and stuff.
He gets the army rules, and he does hit hard, and he moves fast. And
hits-
he's one of the only deep striking units in the book.
he hits okay.
That's what I'm
Hard
saying.
is like his big hit, his strike hit is 6 attacks hitting on 2s, it's strength 14, AP 3, D6 +1 with sustained hits 1. It's okay.
Yeah, without anything else, you probably only get 4 through. Like on average.
What's interesting, because that stat line is very, very close, if not the same as a Redemptor Dreadnought.
Yeah.
It's not the same,
Because the Redemptor hits on 3s.
and there's the less
damage.
attack and less damage and less strength.
I thought
less
the
AP.
Redemptor had 6, didn't it?
It's 5, isn't it?
I thought, oh, okay. Yeah.
I think it's 5. I could be wrong.
You're probably always going to give him fights first. Almost definitely.
Unless it's against the shooting army.
Yeah, maybe.
You might want to hit, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would. Someone's put on there. Would you rather have 380 point Fulgrim or 280 point for 2 carnivores? Yeah. Well, you would probably, with the damage output, you'd probably rather have the 2 carnivores. That being said, you probably want the brigands, so you can't take the carnivores.
Yeah, that's true. But
So,
like,
6 attachments. Interestingly, in this codex, we have 5 demons data sheets. Is it 4? 5 demons data sheets, and they can only be used in a single detachment. And in that single detachment, they can only be used as a single 1,000 points of that detachment.
I do find it odd that you can't take 500 points. Because when you have a detachment where you can take 1,000 points, but the rules for demons is you can take 500 points of demons. But we don't know whether you can take 500. We haven't been told whether you could just take 500 points of the demons.
I'd imagine they might clarify that when they do the full release with everyone.
Yeah.
Well, the difficulty they've also got is you've now got demons in this book which are different. If you how many people have seen or heard of the demon stuff in this codex so far? But if we go into people like Shalaxi Hellbane, who is in the codex, so I was surprised actually to see a named greater demon in the codex.
I was surprised.
She is significantly shitter than the current demons index
Yes.
by like a lot.
But she's mental currently.
No, she is mental currently.
Yeah, but I think I like the idea that so when you're running the Emperor's Children, I like the idea that through the excess and the debauchery, demons will just appear around them.
Yeah.
Right. Because they're kind of summoned into existence. But I like the idea that they're not as strong as a pure Slanesh demon army. Because they're in the full soup of it, The whole board is all.
Do you think? Okay, interesting.
I like the idea of having a weak version and a stronger version.
Do you think then that the Demons Codex version will still be stronger?
Yeah, I'd hope so. Because it means that I like the idea that because the whole warp is taking over, they're imbued by the warp powers.
I think
I don't know. I think it'd be annoying having 2 separate data sheets to consider.
Yeah.
You mean 6 different, or what will soon be 8 different demon princes?
Only 8?
Yeah. Well, no,
Isn't it-
sorry, 10 because the Chaos Spaceman Codex as well.
And demons?
Sorry, 12.
Yeah.
You mean 12 different demon princes?
Rookie numbers, come on.
Yeah.
12 different demon princes with all different rules. You mean like that?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I like the idea that can we take 500 points to take the old Slack? I would imagine if they allow you to take 500 points, It comes out of this book.
Yeah.
Because this book here has a keyword that is not mentioned at all in the entire book or anywhere else.
Which is?
Is it summoned or something?
I'm going to make sure it is the correct. Is summoned.
Yeah.
And in the demon detachment in this book, the keyword summoned isn't used.
So we have got 6 attachments, Joe.
Yeah.
We have got 22 data sheets, 17 of which are Emperor's Children specific.
Yeah.
I say Emperor's Children specific, not entirely specific, because there's things like Mauler Prince and Demon Princes, but obviously they're the Emperor's Children version, which means they've got their own rules.
No Forge Fiends, though.
I think the book is good. I think it's solid. I think it lacks a bit of options for me. I think it would allow me to play a way which I'm quite happy with, lots of movement shenanigans.
Yeah.
What's your takes, though? Do you think it's a perfect written a perfect written codex / supplement for Emperor's Children? Do you think it lacks a little bit? Do you think it's too good in some places?
I think it's a good codex that's not broken. I wouldn't say it's perfect.
Okay.
But it's really up there. I like the fact that that it's not a copy and paste of other Chaos Space Marine lists where it's like, here, have 3 predators. I'm kind of glad that Games Workshop have reinforced the fact that Emperor's Children are the combat finesse army. They're not the brutal damage output combat army, because they've got a bit more finesse over the World Eaters. They're not a shooting army, because that's not what they were in the Heresy. They're all about being the perfect bladesman.
Yep.
So I really like that.
Which is a vibe I prefer.
Yeah, which they've really reinforced in this book. I don't think Flawless Baileys are as good as they could be. I think they need to have one more attack. If I was going to change their profile, I'd just give them.
Do you think one more attack takes them from good to obnoxious, though?
No.
How many? Is it 3 at the moment?
3 at the moment, yeah.
Yeah. Because the problem is, right, if you don't have sustained hits on the unit, 3 can't kill a 10-man guard squad.
Well, no, because they've only got 9 attacks.
Yeah.
That's not really what they're for, though, I guess.
But I feel like they should be able to pick up a chaff unit.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like they eat. So I think realistically,
I'd be a little bit worried with their rule if they had 4 each, is my only concern.
they only, the 3-man unit only trades well into MSU armies.
Yeah.
So if you're playing into, MSU, Drakari, Eldar, Space Marines, they're a great unit. They're perfectly fine. They're really, really good at killing 2-wound Space Marines.
True.
They're perfect at that job. But they do struggle into other elite combat units.
I think that is true. They're unlikely to kill more than 2 Terminators, maybe 3.
Yeah, they'll struggle to kill 2. They'll struggle to kill 3. They'll kill 2, but they won't kill more than 3.
Do you not think, though, looking at Tormentors and Infractors, that if you're running Flawless Blades into 10-man Guardsman units, you're probably doing it wrong?
That's what I thought. I think.
Oh yeah.
I think interestingly with the game now, the way the game's going now, and I'm actually here for this personally, they're coming away from this unit can kill absolutely anything.
Yeah.
Which I'm a fan of. Genuinely a fan of.
Having ran the book, I've changed having ran 2 games of it, I changed my opinion on Infractors and Tormentors, where I was like, no, they were very, very good, right? Now, because I was like, you're probably never going to take more than 15 of the infiltrating guys, and I like the idea of a 10-man scouting sword unit, because they could just go and kill stuff. And now I'm like, 30 infiltrating guys.
You said 60 to me.
I was like, there is an argument to take 60, right? And not bat an eyelid.
So you get 40 in the boxes.
Yeah.
We get 20.
We get 20 in the box, 40 in our boxes.
Yeah.
And he messaged me and was like, do you want 10? I think I'm never going to see me using more than 30 of these. I was like, do you want to keep hold of them for now?
Yeah. So
they're really good.
Mikey's put a great video yesterday, which is rare, right? Sorry, love you, Mikey. I was watching it, and he's converted. He's what he's done is he's taken the box set he's got, and then what he's done is because the Emperor's Children armor is based off of the Mark 6 Heresy armor, so which I really, really like. So he just got a whole bunch of Mark 6 Heresy armor models and just kit bashed the 2 together. So I'm tempted to do that.
Are they a little bit small, potentially?
They're a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
So he's done a really good conversions where he's raised them up slightly higher on cork bases or whatever.
Yeah, you
So
could have
or
a tactical rock or something.
yeah, like tactical rocks or a bit of green stuff just to raise your model up a bit higher.
Yeah.
And they go together really well.
So you don't think the book's perfect? You think it's lacking in some places?
It's lacking in. It's such an obnoxious thing. It's a very stupid thing. I'm glad it's not in there, but it's missing it because other codexes do have it. Is it doesn't have that overwhelming hard hit unit, right? Which is I go in and I just if I look at that and it dies.
Okay.
Because Fulgrim doesn't really do it,
No.
right?
Yeah,
Despite what GW would lead you to believe.
I think you have to run. You have to have Lucius and 6 flawless blades to be able to efficiently kill an opponent's really hard hitting.
Yeah, that's your best bet.
If Tom's running a unit of 6 exalted 8-bound, 6 flawless blades won't kill them. They will struggle, really struggle. So you have to have Lucius in that unit because Lucius can't deal with that unit on his own either.
Why do they struggle though? Is it because they on the turn they charge they can choose to go critical on 3s?
Critical's a 3, which means that it
Kill
overrules the -1 to wound strats, which are really, really good. It's the fact that they're only 3 attacks and damage 2. So you can still...
Oh,
so,
damage 2?
yeah.
Yeah.
I missed that. I thought damage 3. That makes more sense then.
No,
So they're
damage 3 would
83
be
damage
okay.
2.
You could a damage 3 I'd be scared of actually if they did have that.
Yeah, 3 attacks damage 3 was
3 attacks damage 3, I'd be like, yeah, they are perfect.
That's strong, yeah, that's real good.
Yeah,
That's
I would have said 4 attacks would be insane, right? But the problem is they run into a Dreadnought that's -1 damage, they run into Weldy as -1 damage strat.
Sometimes,
You're
yeah.
like, cool.
I mean, imagine them going into Deathwing Knights.
Yeah.
That's a bad day.
Yeah, so you 2 flawless blades might kill 1 Terminator.
Yeah, if it's Deathwing.
If 1 Deathwing Terminator, you might kill a Deathwing Terminator.
Yeah.
You have to have 2. So you'd have to have an entire unit of 6 to...
Is he doing
If
maths
you
now?
hit
Yeah.
He is doing maths.
if you hit perfectly,
I can smell burning.
yeah, if you hit perfectly, wound perfectly, and the Deathwing player fails all of their wounds, you still don't kill the unit
Because it'd be,
because you only do 18 wounds
yeah, with 6 guys.
with 6 guys.
Is Lucius the
Am I?
only character that can join them as well?
Yeah.
He is, isn't he? Okay.
Lucius is like weirdly probably the highest damage unit in the book.
Lucius is 6 attacks, hitting on 2s at strength 8 -3 damage, right?
Really good.
Now, Joe would put him in a brick of flawless blades because he gets access on the turn he charged to the critical wounds on 3+s. What he does at that point he loses his lone op
Yeah, and fights first.
and fights first.
I really think it's matchup dependent, honestly, with
Yeah,
that.
well, the thing is, you decide the moment you get to the table when you set up. So
But also depending on what you're throwing him into, because if you throw him into character, monster, or vehicle, he rerolls hits and wounds anyway. So you don't need.
I
the
think
quick 3s.
he is perfectly set to join 3 flawless blades.
Yeah, I think so.
I think 6 is too much overkill. But I think 3 is just a really good place for him.
My personal opinion on flawless blades is I wouldn't have gone to 4 attacks. I'd put them at 3 damage and I'd leave them alone. Then I think then they're perfect. That's what they need. 3 attacks, 3 damage.
6-man unit at damage 3 is
That will-
terrifying.
Wounding everything in the game on 3.
Yeah,
But it's
too
not.
much.
It doesn't already exist. Tank busters.
Yeah, it's true.
They will.
But tank
Breaker
busters aren't
Boys.
toughness 5 with 3 wounds and a 5 up armor.
Breaker
5 up
boys.
info.
You know,
Breaker Boys are 2 attacks each at damage 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there are also orcs with a 5. I don't know. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
It's a tough one.
It's a
You
really
could-
weird trade-off.
If you did increase the damage, you
Yeah.
could change their rule to wounding everything in the game on 4s rather than 3s.
Yeah, crit hit 4s.
That might be a bit more fair.
But it's like,
Maybe you go down the route of 8-bound and you go 2 guys are 2 damage and the champion is 3 damage.
Yeah.
At that point, perhaps that's where you have the balance, because I just feel like all 2 damage isn't enough, and maybe you both are correct, all 3 damage is far too much. So perhaps you go down the route of going, your champion has a slightly bigger stick and he's got 3 damage. I
That
don't
could
know.
be cool. That could be like normal 8-bound then.
What I'm getting at with it is, I like the data sheet. I think there's a couple of tweaks where I would have done it slightly differently. So I
Yeah.
don't necessarily think it's perfect, but I think it's good enough that I wouldn't
the
complain.
Lord Exultant is a
Yeah.
banging unit.
He's very, very
like
good.
him. I would like him a lot, the Lord Exultant.
Yeah.
He's got a Phoenix Spear, which is 5 attack, strength 7, -2 damage. Really, really good. You can give him the +3 attacks like a Chaos Lord, and he gives his unit lethals. You can't do a strat for 0 CP, but he hits really hard.
Yeah.
The Lord Cacophonist is really, really good. I like him. The Sorcerer is... The Sorcerer is good in isolation, but you're never going to take him.
Why not?
Because he just reduces people's move by 2, but his range is 18 inches. So...
Can he join the infiltrating unit?
Yeah. No. Oh no, he can, but he doesn't. So the Lord Exultant, when he joins the infiltrating unit, he gains infiltrate. If he joins a scout unit, he gets scout. But the sorcerer doesn't have that ability.
That seems like an oversight, doesn't it?
Yeah, you'd have thought they'd give it to him.
Yeah.
Or maybe they decided that an infiltrating unit they can then reduce the opponent's movement was too much.
Yeah.
Which is also
Maybe.
possible.
Yeah. The Flying Demon Prince is got
He's
a bit
good.
of a glow up
Yeah.
to the point where I've run out a couple of times. I'm like, I want 2. 3 is too much. 2 points. But
Did Joe just say 3 is too
3
much?
is too much because
I'm going to clip that, and every time he asks me for 3 or anything, I'm just going to press
But
He's a changed
because I've got a
man.
Foot Demon Prince and a Flying Demon Prince. The Foot Demon Prince is really, really good
because he gets blown up.
because he gets loan up and he's got Final Death on a 2+. And when units charge within 6 inches of him,
They gain AP.
They get +1 AP.
Oh.
Really, he works really, really good with the sword guys.
Is he always loan op, or does he have to be near someone?
He has to be within 3.
If you put Lucius with his loan op next to Demon Prince with his loan op, is that just a bubble of loan op?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because he's within 3 inches of an Emperor's Children unit.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes.
Is Lucius one specifically?
Lucius is just flat blown up.
Lucius
all the
is
time.
just literally just loan op. Yeah.
So yeah, you stand them next to each other.
They like hold hands and skip down the path
It's a great
together.
tag team.
Yeah. You don't want to go anywhere fucking near it. either.
No, God no.
And,
Whichever one you charge, Lucius is gonna fight.
yeah, and they've given them their marks from the Chaos Codex. So the Demon Prince on foot moves 10 instead of 8, and the Flying one moves 14.
That is
instead
a
of 12.
very nice.
But
movement buff.
the fact that he's got the Chaos Space Marine, I do mortal wounds you want to charge, but he's also got -1 damage.
That's so good.
So good.
Is he still not slightly hamstrung by the fact that he's a monster who can't move through ruins? Or are you less bothered because his data sheet's actually pretty good on the whole?
I'm less bothered because his data sheet is, because the -1 damage is really, really good.
Yeah.
But the fact that he moves 14 and can advance and charge.
I think
Walls are
all
not
of
a
the-
problem to this man.
All of the movement rules really, really big him up.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah,
And
he's really
fly
good.
does occasionally matter.
So what I do want to talk about before we keep, because we don't need to go through all the data sheets.
There's two units I want to talk about.
Go on then. Let's let you finish
Right.
your bit,
Is the Tormentors and the Infractors.
which I think are goats in the Codex.
I think they're woefully underpointed though,
I would agree.
because
I looked at them and went, "What?"
so
Yeah, they kind of just gave him every rule in the book.
I actually watched Tabletop Tactics did like a mini Codex review
Out for free?
out for free.
That's unlike them.
I know.
Lies.
Well, and and also I'm glad to know that one thing that brings me great joy, because I know that there are people out there that feel the same, is that Beard, also named Joe, right?
Yeah.
Sign of greatness. Also looks completely dead in the eyes when he talks about Chaos Space Marines.
Someone got the better Joe. I'm just saying, chat.
Someone
got the
did,
better
yeah,
Joe.
very true.
This looks still quite smiley.
Yeah, and
I fucking love Joe, by the way. He's a
so
lovely,
when
lovely lad.
because he was like comparing these to Legionnaires is mental. 10 points difference.
So Tormentors are essentially Legionnaires
Yeah.
in the sense that they're bolt guns and special weapons and stuff like that,
Yeah.
right, chat?
So-
but what they did was they went, we don't want them to just have Legionnaires, so let's just give them fucking everything.
yeah, so when this book came, so when we got this book, because we could talk about this.
Can I just
I
ask
did-
which one's which?
The Tormentors are the shooty ones.
Right, okay.
The Infractors are the,
Yeah.
are the choppy ones.
So in the Codex, I looked at their points. The Tormentors are 95 points. So they were 10 points more than Legionnaires, right? And then,
The Legionnaires 85.
yeah.
That's fuck all.
And then what happened is that they changed their points and they made these 10 points cheaper.
Oh.
The same cost as Legionnaires now.
So
we are allowed to talk about this as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
good.
Legionnaires in a 5-man squad can have 2 power fists.
Yeah.
Right. Which is good, and you re-roll hit rolls, re-roll wound rolls of 1 naturally, and you re-roll all wound rolls when you're on an objective. So they're like intercessors
Is it when you're on
Assault.
or when they're on?
when your opponent's on.
Yeah,
it,
yeah, okay.
Right, and then so they're like assault intercessors.
And Legionnaires.
They can get. This is the Legionnaires.
Oh, this
we're
is
talking
it,
about. The
sorry.
Legionnaires can take 2 power fists. They could do the re-rolls. They can get lethal and sustained, but you have to take a leadership test. And if you fail, you lose models basically.
But you do have an icon, so
But you
like,
do have
it's
an icon, so
very
you can re-roll it.
unlikely.
And then you can have 1 of each special weapon.
Yes.
So for the same points, for the tormentors, you don't re-roll, but you have sticky, but you have infiltrate, and then you can take a melter gun, a plasma gun, and a plasma pistol,
And 5.
in 5.
Yeah.
and you can double that
For 10.
for 10. So you have 2 melter guns, 2 plasma guns, and the plasma pistol, and they all have precision.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy that the other day when
Yeah.
you just melted my blade champ into another world.
Yeah.
With
Walked-
precision?
With precision
like,
on a
Thanks for
5-man unit.
They
Yeah.
just have everything.
Yeah.
Infiltrate-
Oh, Calvin Rick says Legionnaires are 90 points for 5. So these are 5 points cheaper.
With
They're
infiltrate,
cheaper now.
With infiltrate and precision.
Yeah. And sticky. So you can infiltrate, sticky and objective, get killed and be like, yeah, it's still mine. Thanks
I
for coming.
mean-
Oh, and when you kill a unit, you take a leadership test. If you pass, you gain a CP.
Berserkers are 100 points and they do fucking nothing.
And they're faster. They move 7.
And
Not
battle line.
And battle lines,
Yeah.
they take 60.
Yeah.
So you can take 6 units of them, and in any of those mission rules where battle line could do objectives in advance,
Oh, God, yeah.
do actions in advance or be an engagement, blah 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 blah. They could do all
Or
that.
fall back and do actions.
They could do that. Where they could already fall back, shoot, and charge.
Yeah.
because they're Emperor's children.
Yeah. So, and then the Infractors have got the same combat rule, right? But when you kill stuff, you do. The Infractors are less good, but they still scout.
Are they-
And all their weapons have got precision in combat as well.
And their reroll ones or
Melee
reroll
weapons.
wounds, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All their melee weapons have got precision,
Yeah.
as you discovered today.
I did.
And these will clear your guardsmen.
Yeah.
Because you can take a unit of 10, cheap as chips. How many attacks does each model have, Joe?
4.
4. AP1 as well.
Yeah, so you can
you
stop-
go to AP2
Yeah.
in one of the
you
detachments.
can spend a CP, yeah.
And they're faster.
And
move
so
7.
I think that 10-man guard squad will probably die.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
think like Infractors and Tormentors are like Legionnaires, but cheaper and better.
Like Legionnaires, but on actual steroids.
They're just...
Yeah.
Of all the CSM battle line, like including World Eaters, Thousands Suns, everyone,
Yeah.
like they're probably just the best option.
Yeah. So I said this to Tom earlier. I didn't say this to you, right? This isn't just the Emperor's Children book, right?
Oh yeah.
This is the Alpha Legion book, right? As an Alpha Legion player, how cool, how representative of Alpha Legion is like, I've got a combat kind of assassin squad that kills characters that scouts. I've got a shooting assassin squad that infiltrates, right? I've got a character that is lone op and has fight first and great in combat that's basically Alpharius.
So you'd heavily convert Alpha Legion models and run them as
If I
this
was a Chaos
Codex.
Space Marine player that runs Alpha Legion at the moment, I'd be like, cool, this is my new Codex.
Okay.
Thanks for coming. You know?
Cool. I'm into
I
it.
think
I
yeah.
do want you actually, to be honest with you, I do want you to talk about one more unit before we move on to my next thing I want to talk about, and then we will jump into chat soon and get your opinions on this too as well. Because, like I said, we do this on the Tuesday. You've had a few days to digest now. I want to know what you guys think. There's a couple of super chats in there already. If you've got questions or things you want to talk about, chuck it in there, or you can do what Stu's just done and give some memberships. I'll say thank you to that in a minute. But Noise Marines. So
Yes.
you've got this thing that you keep saying in the Thanes chat that Noise Marines is an auto take 18.
There's
I-
no reason not to take 18.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
How come?
There are
'Cause I don't-
135 points, which is abusively cheap for what they do. But at 135 points, they are a toughness 5 2 wound Space Marine. So they do die.
Yeah, that's
when
my
you- when you
concern
shoot
with
them,
them.
right?
I'm not questioning their output.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, right, their range is 18 inches. And you're like, oh, that's not very far, right? But 18 inches is a lot of space to cram other angry Emperor's Children Space Marines into, right? So the problem is they can stand behind a wall of things that your opponent has to deal with. And 18 inches is a perfect range to sit on an objective and shoot another objective as well.
Also,
Yeah.
if you just chuck him in a rhino, the rhino moves 12 and you can advance and shoot after getting out the rhino.
Yeah, because
So,
the rhino could advance and then you could disembark.
Exactly. Advance the rhino,
Yeah.
get out, shoot.
The thing is though, it's a unit of 6, but 4 are ablative wounds for the 2 other guys.
Yeah.
The big guns.
The big guns.
Yeah.
And those big guns slap.
Yeah, someone was saying no damage 3. There's your damage 3.
Yeah, people are, it has no damage 3. You've got 3 units that have put out 6 damage 3 guns.
Well-
And people complain that there's no predators in the book. Noise Marines are predators at the end of the day. Like they've got the shorter range and they have to go into rhinos, but you've still got 6 like strength 10 AP2 damage free shots per unit.
I could
with
definitely,
sustained.
I could definitely see you not leaving home without at least 2 units, but you were like 3 every time, no matter what. And I was like, that's
Yeah.
interesting because
they're 135 points.
yeah.
I also think that's your only realistic shooting option.
Yeah.
Again, unless allying Chaos Knights.
Oh, yeah. So
Yeah.
if you want to go, that's a whole other discussion, but if you want to ally Chaos Knights, take a couple of Brigands, but you don't have
But
to.
the fact that you only just pip over 400 points for 3 incredibly good shooting units.
Yeah.
But
So 400 points,
It's 405, right?
405 points.
quite a lot though.
But for what you get,
You think it's worth it?
I think
Because
it's
400 points out of 2,000 is a fair old whack.
yeah, but like
It's a fifth of your
But
army.
you look at like the Deathwing Knights are like 250
Yeah.
5, yeah.
for 5.
Okay.
So like it's
and I know-
150 points shy of the 3, and you got to think like Noise Marines could advance, shoot, and charge.
And fall back and shoot.
And
charge.
The
fall
thing
back
is,
shooting
the reason
charge.
why I asked this is because like I said, so I'm gonna, as an alternative for 300 and for 330 points. So for less, you can take 2 Brigands
Yeah.
Yeah.
as Chaos Knights, right?
Yeah.
Which I'm looking at. If I'm running a melee army of any sort, what melee armies really need is a way of opening up enemy transports, so they can then get to the GUI inside.
It's also clearing screens.
Yes, they do need clearance screens as well. Brigands do both of those things. They have the thermal spears on one arm, and they have the Gatling cannons on the other, and they hit on 2s.
Yeah.
And so for 75 points less, I get 2 toughness 10 or whatever they are, toughness 12, 12
Yeah, 10.
wound. 12 wound knights, baby knights, that have both the capacity to open up a transport and clear a screen. And I'm wondering if you are going to reliably do that with your 3 units of Noise Marines as well. And I haven't played it,
Yeah.
and I haven't run the math, so I haven't done Math Hammer for this at all. But I don't know if they do.
I had 1 unit Noise Marines take 6 wounds. From 1 round of shooting, took 6 wounds off of a rhino.
Yeah.
And that's just from the 2 big guns before I shot the 2 little guns.
yeah, okay.
Right? Are they going to do that every time? No. But you could also spike the dice and take off 9 wounds.
I mean,
kind
I'd
of
say with sustained hits, you quite reliably will do 6 damage with like a couple of them.
Yeah, I think 2 units probably kills a rhino.
I think one can do it.
Yeah.
If you got, because you can have sustained hits, man, aren't you, as well?
Oh yeah, the sustained hits guy makes the bear, and then what he does is he forces a mortal wound check. He forces mortal wounds on you, so you can do anywhere between 0 and 3 mortal wounds, and then you have to take a battle shock test if you're still alive, basically.
At -1.
No, I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying that I can see an alternative.
Can I also say my new favourite unit? He's the King of Kings now,
Oh, you
no,
no, say
yeah.
Helldrake.
the Helldrake. Absolute lad.
Fuck it. Tom and I are not on the same wavelength as Joe. In this
No.
one.
I will say, cause obviously, he's running a Helldrake this morning. I did have a look at it and think, that looks cool as shit. Then I looked at his rules and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. It's had a huge go up, and it's still a bit shit.
It has got better, to be fair. It got tougher.
It got better. It's got a 2-up save, and it's got 2
Extra
more
wounds.
extra wounds,
Extra
and it's got
toughness.
higher toughness. Right. I'm not saying go out and buy 3, right?
But what did you want?
Answering, but I've got 2. I've got 3. I've got 2 plus the blue one for 1,000 Suns.
Yeah.
Bluey is his name.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah,
He's a buddy.
and I think there's running 1 for fun. You won't be disappointed, right? It still has jobs it can do,
Does it?
right? Am I saying go and take them to tournaments? No. But am I saying take a big angry dragon and fly around the table and shoot stuff and set things on fire? And if your opponent brings any flying units, it's hilarious.
That is really funny.
Helldrakes are one of my favourite chaos units of all time, Joe, because they're just fucking big, angry, mechanical, flamey dragons. I love it.
Yeah.
But they've just been a bit pap for ages.
But you've got to think now, right? The Helldrake in this book specifically
is better
than all other Helldrakes.
It is better, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but that's...
right? Because it can advance, shoot, charge,
Okay, yeah.
and fall back, shoot, charge, right? And it can get sustained or lethal in combat, or it can reroll advances.
So you've segued nicely onto the next thing I want to talk about before we jump into chat. And that's the army rule.
Yeah.
So the army rule is interesting.
When I read it, I had a bit of a headache for a little while.
So
until I had the models on the table and I could figure out.
Yeah, we had to have quite a long chat about figuring it out.
I'm sure you guys have heard this already, but for the benefit of those of you that haven't, who may have waited for this channel for your preview stuff for Emperor's Children, I'm going to read it to you. The army rule is called Thrill Seekers, right? If your army faction is Emperor's Children, this unit is eligible to shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which it advanced or fell back, which sounds incredible.
It's Calgar.
Yeah, your whole army can shoot and charge in a turn in which it advances or fallbacks.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I love it. Incredibly strong. Too strong on its own.
Yeah.
And Games Workshop realised this, which is nice for a change. So they said, but when doing so, and then followed by 2 bullet points. The first bullet point states, it cannot target a unit it was within engagement range of at the start of the turn, which means you cannot fall back and then shoot or charge at the unit you fell back from. You'd have to fall back from that unit and shoot and charge at a different unit. Bullet point 2, it cannot target a unit that was the target of another unit's charge or attack this phase. So you can't shoot, as far as I understand this, you can't shoot both your units of Noise Marines if they both advanced at the same Rhino.
True.
So you can only shoot one unit at that Rhino.
Well, actually, no. It's all about order.
Yeah, if you advance a unit and shoot that unit, the other unit didn't advance and you shoot that unit, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you shoot the Rhino first with
The non-advanced
the
unit.
non-advanced unit, the one that did advance can't do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's you have to be very specific in it, but having played it, it's not as confusing as it sounds.
It also means if you advance both of your units of Flawless Blades and you want to charge into a single enemy unit, you can't.
No.
Yeah.
You can't both of them pick the same unit as the target of your charge.
Yeah.
This might be a rule that we need some sort of visual token, to be honest with you.
I think tokens are going to help
Yeah,
you a lot.
but like thing is though, like it's not going to come up a huge amount in a lot of your games, but it is something you have to keep track of. Because how fast do Flawless Blades move?
9?
It's 9, isn't it, I think?
8.
8.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
that's
it's
nice.
slower than 8 bound.
Yeah.
Do they have the demon keyword out of interest?
No.
Okay, so they're not possessed or 8 bound.
No.
Essentially. Okay.
They do have grenades though.
Oh, good luck when they come out. We will see none of the new strats.
That's how you get rid of the additional 1 guardsman.
Do they have a CP farm?
No.
You can gain CP through Tormentors and Infractors.
It's the 7th rule that they have.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, what the book does do, actually, I know how much you love grenades, but the book also does a good job of giving you some really tasty stratagems
There are really good
through
strats.
different detachments. They've got some really tasty stratagems. So even Joe is going to be an individual that's going to be like, I could grenade, but I really want the CP for this stratagem.
Yeah, so so something happened earlier, and I had 2 command points in combat. That's an interrupt, but it's like I could fight on death, or it's like I failed a save on my demon prince that fights on death. So I was like, do I re-roll the save, which means he could stay alive, but it's 50-50, or do I just bank on him killing some stuff on a fight on death, which saves me an interrupt? And then it's like, well, who do I interrupt with? You know, my favourite detachment is the Peerless Swordsman, which allows you to get sustained and lethals on the charge, which also has a strat for -1 to be hit, which is also an incredible combat.
It also has my favourite strat, which they've started putting in more, which is charge something after it falls back from you.
Yeah. So if someone falls back 6 inches away, you can chase after them, right? Which is really good. Because this is where the combos start to come in when you see like replay it. So one of the best units in this book, I do think, is now the Flying Demon Prince.
Yeah.
Because he procs off a lot of stratagems.
Okay.
Like, his unit rule is when he charges, you do that many. You roll a number of dice equal to his remaining wounds, and for each 4+, he does a mortal wound. So it's just got inbuilt tank shock.
Okay.
So if someone runs away and he charges after them, he does mortal wounds to them. Right? There's an enhancement in that detachment which allows you to heroically intervene for free, even if someone's already done it. So they're just doing mortal wounds in your opponent phase. It's really good. Also, there is a big loser. A big loser.
Is it Fulgrim?
Is it Predators?
No.
Is it Forge Fiends?
No.
Is it Eidolon?
No, it's a unit in this book.
Oh, Terminators.
Terminators.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Always one of the first data sheets Joe ever goes to.
He skips all of them. He just went,
I'm like,
where are they?
Terminators, what are we doing? Right?
Oh, they're still bad.
Awful unit rule.
Oh shit.
Why did they
Is it the below starting strength?
You could
or something?
re-roll charges.
Oh.
basically.
On the flip side,
Isn't there a caveat with the reroll charges?
yeah,
as
you have
well?
to have not killed the thing in shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the flip side,
yeah.
It's not even just reroll charges.
I'm at least glad that their rules are shit when they didn't release Emperor Children specific Terminator models.
Yeah.
If they had gone, here's your generic Chaos Space Marine Terminators, by the way, their rules are fucking incredible, I'd have been more annoyed. Because I'm like, well, give me fancy Emperor Children Terminators and if they're that good.
The Tail Crystals does it, which is why they don't have the Predator tanks. Yes. It doesn't. It doesn't say. But
have you read all the narrative in it?
I've not read all the narrative. I tried. There's no. The problem is I tried reading it, but much like yourself, whenever I try and read a book, I immediately fall sleepy.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
but there's no like stories in here. It's just stuff explaining what the units are and do. There's no like Fulgrim turned up and he like gave like Calgar a wet willy and then he pushed over the lion, you know. And then Bob
I'm kind
flushed.
of glad that's not in there.
Yeah, that'd be a great. I like that as an audiobook.
Yeah, you know.
I love Joe to do audiobooks.
He just turned up and he was just a massive twat. You know,
Imagine the amount of times where the recording people going, Jay, you need to stick to the actual story.
Yeah,
You can't just keep making
this
it up.
geezer just shanked him right in the cock.
Yeah. So I think the book's really good. It doesn't need predators.
No.
Right? People are using predators as a crutch. You know, as gamers, we like to complain. A book comes out that's good, and we need to find something to complain about. It hasn't got predators. Would predators have been good? Nice, yes, but like Games Workshop are like, buy the new thing,
But-
do the new thing.
But my opinion of this book in general is, as a roundup, my opinion of the book is, it's not perfect, it's not world breaking, it's
No.
also not bad or terrible.
Yeah.
And I think that the Eldar Codex for me was, and actually to some extent the Guard Codex was, these books are decent, they're relatively balanced, they are strong in the right places, they're weak in the right places, and I think this follows that trend.
Yeah.
I honestly think we're seeing, hopefully, a turned corner
Yeah.
with codexes from Games Workshop.
Yeah.
I'd suggest the Astra Militarum one is very good. The only thing that really broke it was the Grotmus detachment.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think we'll see a change to that. I think the Eldar Codex was really, really good. I don't foresee us seeing lots of changes to that. Maybe some points increases for Fire Dragons, etc. I think this is following a trend. I think they've done a good job.
I think it's a really good job, and like I feel like this is the Eldar Space Marine Army. This is the
That's
movement
true.
army.
This is the one where it's the melee army that's incredibly good at movement, but not incredibly good at doing damage.
yeah, it's a thinking man's army.
I think he'll be very, very good at scoring points.
Agree.
It has so many ways of doing that.
Agree.
I don't think you're going to table anyone all too quickly
No.
with this one.
And also
Well, terrible opponents, you mean.
and also people need to remember like Games Workshop can't release everything for this army in one go because of what do they then release later?
More stuff.
Like, but then they have to invent the things, right? If they release it, if they trickle it,
Do they have to
don't
invent the thing, or can they just look at like all of the books they've ever written?
Well, the thing is, though, they go like, if we give them the Terminators, and we give them Palatine Blades, and we give them this, and we give them that, and we give them Eidolon, right? They go, well, we have to invent something in the future. Whereas if we don't give them all now, we can give them the things that we don't have to work too hard on.
I will remember this when it's World Eater's turn and we get like one character that no one cares about.
I can see that being the thing.
Yeah.
to be fair.
I reckon.
And the new announced kill team unit.
I'm
And they're probably going to take off Predators and Forge Fiends, considering this book.
I hope they get rid of Predators, they get rid of Forge Fiends, and they go, here's demons and one Chaos Lord on foot.
Why do you hate me?
You know?
I actually would be okay with them removing Predators and Forge Fiends.
I'd be
Sorry,
okay.
I know you've got some Forge Fiends.
What's interesting, though, is in this book that the Lord Cacophonus can join Terminators.
That's
So what I'd
interesting.
like to see is your existing characters in World Eaters be allowed to join more
I would
things.
genuinely just love to have like a generic Chaos Lord as an option.
Give me a generic World Eater's Lord. Give me a mechanical cavalry unit so that my Lord Invocatus or Juggernaut Lord
That'd be
actually
so
can join
cool.
something sensible. Give me the new kill team mechanical leg guys
They
because
look
they look cool as
awesome. I
shit.
love them.
Get rid of my shooting stuff because I don't care.
What this book does point out, though, is a bit of a flaw in the game in general. Right? Is what units characters can join. And because... so the Lord Cacophonus, right, can join Terminators and Noise Marines.
Yeah.
Like, why? And it's like, why can't he join Tormentors?
Well, I
Like,
guess
'cause they're
their
another shooting
argument
unit.
would be that he's got a weird kind of Terminator hybrid power
Yeah.
armor situation
And it's
going
like
on.
Lucius could only join Flawless, but like
Why-
it's just like they're very specific in what people can join what. It's like in World Eaters, the giant pig unicorn man can join 8-bound and
Berserkers,
Berserkers,
which
but he
is
can't join
mental.
Terminators, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think they've really messed up with that one.
Yeah.
I don't think they realised that they were going to have leading units in 10th edition
Yeah,
when they
it's-
would just put up 2 Juggernaut characters.
And they're like, it's like in Space Marines, like the guy in Gravis armor can join Gravis.
Yeah.
But Calgar can join They're like, we don't like having mixed profiles in units,
Yeah.
which I understand.
Unless
right?
Tyranids.
Unless Tyranids.
Or
And they go,
World Eaters.
that toughness 8, 10 wound monster can join those toughness 3, 1 wound Gords.
Yeah,
but
also-
specifically only that one type of Gord.
Calgar
unit.
can lead like half the Space Marine range.
Yeah.
He's toughness 6, Gravis, essentially.
I'd like to see a bit of a lift on... Because there was a
yeah.
day when a captain in Terminator armor could join tactical marines. Like most specifically, if you look at things like Space Wolves, Wolfguard Terminator characters, their whole cool shtick was that they'd lead around the young bloods. You know?
I think if you're as a character punching down rather than up, I think it's not a problem. So if you're
Yeah.
toughness 6 like Calgar
Yeah.
and you're joining a toughness 3, 4, 5 wound unit, who cares? Because you're actually hamstringing your character at the point at which your opponent's rolling wound rolls, right?
Yeah.
If punching up, however, if you're a toughness 3 character, you shouldn't be joining necessarily toughness 6 units.
Yeah.
So if you do it the first way round, I'd be perfectly okay with it.
Yeah,
But then you also have to work out how unit rules will then interact with that character.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
you don't make them broken.
I
Because
would
that's the
like it
problem.
if there was more freedom on character leading units, because
Yeah.
at the moment it's quite annoying trying to fit it around.
Yeah.
Also, I don't really see why the Lord Exaltant guy wouldn't be able to lead the Flawless Blades guys, because
Yeah.
they're not even possessed or anything.
Yeah,
No,
he's
agree.
literally
They're just
he's
bigger.
the lord of the army. Like
Yeah.
if Lucius and Fulgrim aren't there, someone's in charge of the ship.
Yeah.
Right. We've got some chat stuff to get through.
Yeah.
Okay. We haven't got loads, which is why I've left it till 2:30. I have to be off by 3:30. I've got a call with someone at 4.
Special
Yeah.
people.
I've got a special
So I
call
celebrate
for-
by going for a week. It's been an hour, so you can't.
That's
complain.
not long.
That's
not
long
long.
at all.
Considering you went twice before we started the stream within 3 minutes, it's not long that you've waited an hour.
And as soon as we came
Well,
in
makes
this
one
morning.
empty, you know.
I might do like a £10 wage deduction every time he goes to the toilet, especially during a stream.
It'd definitely save you money.
I
You could have that. And then
think he'd owe me.
you could have a jar for when he complains about CSM.
Yeah.
And a jar for when he goes to the toilet.
Yeah.
And then you just wouldn't have to pay him.
Yeah.
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 Job
At
done.
the end of the month, you can just take the jars home.
Yeah. No, then he'd make significantly more.
Yeah. Yeah. So Joe's got off for his pokey bum wank.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dan, for the 5. If you want to see the perfect way, you should watch Astrath bouncing off of Eddie's jeans to the cult character. This was last Tuesday, wasn't it? I haven't seen this. I haven't seen this.
Yeah, I wasn't there for that one.
No, I need to ask him about
I
it.
imagine Joe was sad.
He's always sad though.
That's true.
He always does this thing. He comes into the group chat or comes into here with me and you, and he'll have this harebrained idea which is flat terrible. And me and Tom or me and Paddy or Tom and Paddy will tell him it's terrible, and then he'll run it, and then he'll complain about why it doesn't work.
And then he'll complain that the other person's army's broken.
Yeah.
Because they pick the good units.
Even if they're playing, I don't know, current sisters, he'd whinge.
Yeah.
Interesting. Which is, I think, why the ways are a bit more annoying, because they only really come out when he's like, I was proven right. I'm like, yeah, but you're not actually right, are you?
You've just rolled above average, mate.
Yeah, on this one occasion.
I love Joe Maths.
Thank you for the 5, though, Dan. Love you. Thank you, the last son of Nostramo, for the 5. Best lore bit of the Codex was the Fulgrim speech. The Ultramarines' armour was as bland as their souls.
That's a good burn, that is.
That's a great line.
That's a good one.
I love that line. It's never Joe.
We love a bit of Ultramarines hate now and then. Now and then.
I like any kind of banter between factions, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ultramarines get a lot of it, though.
Oh, I mean, they're quite an easy target. Like, there's some great lines in Betrayer where Angron just has a massive go at Gilman about being a nerd, basically.
The funny thing is the way the Ultramarines players react to it as well.
Yeah, like, what?
How dare you?
How could this be us?
How dare you? Let me write this down in my book.
Yes, let me complain about this in my diary.
Yeah. Joe, what happened with Astrath and a Gene Stealer cult character on Tuesday?
He couldn't kill a little 3-wound Gene Stealer.
Could he thought of Astrath?
Yeah, Astrath charged in, and then, well, to be fair, right, Eddie rolled like an absolute demon. Eddie was like, "Oh, that's cool, take 5 invuln saves." He was like, "Oh, I failed the first one, takes 2." And he was like, 5 up, 5 up, 5 up, 5 up. It's annoying. Like, you're always like you.
Dice rolling games, isn't it? That's the bonus with them.
Yeah.
Keith, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships.
Oh, gee.
Keith Rogers.
I hope, Keith, that next time you go out for dinner, you get to sit next to Kenny Loggins.
Who?
Kenny Loggins, he wrote Danger Zone.
Yeah.
Do you not know?
Yeah.
Do you know Highways to Danger Zone, the song?
Yeah.
Well, Top
Yeah.
Gun, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. That's basically his only thing, to be fair.
Oh.
He did other songs, but we don't care about
I might get some hate for that, but we'll see. Yeah. Whenever Keith super chats, I just think of Big Keith from The Office.
Oh, fuck you.
It's so funny.
Emma, thank you for the 1 gifted. You're a hero. Leaks, thank you for the 5. That puts us on 26 members at the moment, by the way, chat, if you cared. Leaks, thank you for the 5. Well, I find a small number of units attractive. I have a massive Black Templars army. Space Marines are basically a subscription service, so limited roster armies have appeal. I think when your roster is quite limited and restricted, and I'm aware this is me saying I want to have my cake and eat it, and probably breaks other things I've whinged about in the past. But when you have a limited roster range, I feel like I'd want more specific Emperor's Children stuff that gives me more flavour.
Yeah.
I don't like the random Mauler Fiend, no Forge Fiend. I don't like random Chaos Terminators that aren't very good. I feel like if you're going to go super limited, I'd actually rather do it with someone like Votan. And Votan have done this incredible job of having a limited model range, but they kind of tick every box. They kind of do everything.
Well, I think
They've got most things, but I think the Votan do have a limited model range, but every single unit they have is actually Votan.
Yeah.
Whereas you look at World Eaters, you look at Emperor's Children, Thousand Suns a bit as well. They technically have about 20 units, but less than 10 are actually the units you want to use in your faction.
Yeah, it's very much a case of like in this, like when Votan came out, it was like you said, every unit is Votan, every unit is new, make it all good. Whereas with Emperor's Children, they're like, don't make this is an assumption, but it's like don't make Terminators good as a shooting and combat unit, because we've made specific Emperor's Children shooting and combat units, which are new. And if you're a Chaos player, you might already own Terminators, whereas you don't own Flawless Blades and Tormentors. So please go and buy those.
Yeah.
And I think it's very much why the Predators and the Vindicators and the Forge Fiends aren't in the book as well, because they don't want you to use stuff that you already own.
Have you at any point looked at Mauler Fiends?
Mauler Fiends are good in that book.
So you have looked at them?
Yeah.
But you're not interested in adding them to the army at the moment?
I want to add them to the army.
Yeah, I said at the moment. Yeah.
At the moment, obviously, I've got other stuff I'm doing, But like Mauler Fiends, I wouldn't mind adding to the army. I don't think they add much to the army that you can't already get.
I agree.
They do add some high strength, high damage attacks, which you don't have a large amount of.
Well, how many attacks does that have?
6.
Probably
6. Strength
14.
minus
14, is it?
2.
D6 plus 1.
Yeah.
So he's only. So the difference between him and Fulgrim is he hits 1 less
He's on
and has
threes.
1 less AP.
Yeah.
And about 300 points less.
But if it's taken any wounds, it gets +1 to hit.
Yeah.
And if it's below half of its 12 wounds, it gets +1 a wound.
Yeah.
Pretty
it's
good.
really good. It's really good. It's what, movement 12?
It's movement. It is movement 10. But also when it goes to 1 to 4 wounds, so when it's got a third of its wounds left, it also goes to -1 to hit. So that
Yeah,
then,
I think.
So the plus or minus 1 cancels out.
so it goes back to 3. So it goes if it gets wounded, it goes to 2s. If it goes down to a third of its wounds, it goes back up to 3s. But then it's
So you
also
plus
+1 a
one
wound.
Yeah. So it's like it's a good unit that's tough and hits hard. But I think the problem with those kind of units, those kind of vehicle monster units, they do die real easy as well.
I think so.
Their stat lines are impressive until you go call my 1 unit of Dark Reapers or my 1 unit of Custodian Guard Melter Bikes, just like, oh, boom, dead.
But how many points is it? If it's like 140, you're probably not that bothered if it just gets splattered.
Codex, which might be wrong, it is 140.
Yeah, so I think most Mauler Fiends are 140 points.
Which
And you
is...
say it dies easy, but it is still a toughness 10 vehicle of an inbud.
Well, Joe called 6...
Mauler Fiends, so it's new point. It's 130 points. Well, yeah, I'll take one.
So it's very cheap. It's cheaper than everyone else's Mauler Fiends. And
the advanced charges and fallbacks charge.
exactly.
I mean, advance and charge is a big deal on it, especially in the first attachment where you just get to re-roll advances as well.
Yeah, and it's got the tentacles, so it's got extra attacks.
So like it is quite annoying to kill because it does have an inbun. It is toughness 10, 12 wounds, and it does go pretty quick, hits pretty hard, annoying to deal with. You know, I think it's all right, genuinely.
Yeah. I think like I don't want to say there's no reason not to take one. Obviously, it depends on what you bought, but
I'd say the most annoying thing is trying to get it around walls.
yeah.
Yeah.
The difference between him and the flying demon prince is the demon prince has fly, so he can just be like, whee,
And a circular
You can
base.
and a
solve-
circular base.
You can solve the getting around rules by... Are you right because the tentacles or just because of pivot?
I'm talking about
pivot
just being
and
a chonk.
Because a flying demon prince, because that's movement 12, so that's movement 14, so that moves 4 inches
yeah.
faster than that anchor. So he has that extra inch that he could just fly over the wall if he needs to.
Okay.
But the Mauler Fiends are good. They're a really good pressure unit as well, I think.
Tank
Yeah.
the Unknowing, thank you for the 5. I've picked up the launch box. I was so close to picking it up, and I nearly did. And I
That thing
decided
sold out real
I decided
quick.
not to, and then it was sold out so fast.
It
I probably
literally
would've got
sold
on
out
anyway.
in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And what was cool is that like every other unit that they can take in their codex sold out as well.
Yeah.
Even like I went and looked over on the heresy bit, and even the Spartans sold out, and all the fancy land raiders sold
So
out.
I decided not to. And I think I probably made the right choice there for me personally because I'm fucking loving putting Chaos Knights together. Anyway, I picked up the launch box, made to soup into my Chaos Space Marine list. Do you think there are any issues using the Infractor Tormentors as Legionnaires or Chosen? No.
No.
Absolutely not. Go for it.
I'm going to convert up a bunch of Chosen using the Infractor Tormentor kit
They're pretty kits
to
as well.
run around with Fabius Ball.
That's a really
in
cool
my-
idea, actually. Yeah, I rate that.
They are very pretty kits.
Yeah.
They're really, really nice. And this is the other thing that I personally dislike about the generic Codex data sheets in the book that kind of beefs it out a bit. So the Terminators and the Mauler Fiend. They're cool models.
Yeah.
I think Chaos Terminators are beautiful models. I love them. I actually really like Mauler Fiends. I used to own 3 of them.
Yeah, I
I
love
love them. But I just feel like when you're going to go down the god-specific route of World Eaters, or and Mauler Fiends kind of fit World Eaters, but World Eaters, Thousand Suns, etc., and you go, mine looks the same as yours. It's just purple or pink instead of yours being red instead of yours being blue.
It's the downside to Emperor's Children, World Eaters, and Thousand Suns
Death Guard.
is that they didn't get the Death Guard treatment.
Oh, yeah. I was actually thinking earlier, they absolutely nailed Death Guard
Yes.
when they came out.
Yeah, because when you look at Death Guard, they've got a a main battle tank that's also an artillery piece.
It's so cool as well.
It's got like a shooting anti-tank little rhomba unit of tanks
Rhomba.
because you can have like 3 of them, and then it's got the spube drones, which also double up as an angry lawnmower, and those things hit
I
hard.
fucking love the lawnmower, by
They
the way.
have 2 Terminator units.
Yeah.
And a really good battle line unit. And loads of their own
What
demon
I'm
engines.
praying for is the 11th edition launch box is either Thousand Sons World Eaters or Emperor Children.
That is why they nailed Death Guard. Is they
love-
were part of the launch box.
Yeah, you
I
have to
love
be
a
part of the
flesh
launch
mower.
box to get the juice.
You really want to be the little brother for the edition to get the good stuff.
I love a flesh mower. I really like Death Guard.
I
Maybe
like
one day.
Death Guard. I don't like their rules.
I basically, if someone puts a flesh mower on the table, I'm like, kill it as quickly as possible.
I-
and then Death Guard players are like, please don't. I
don't
need
wanna
to
get your
move
flesh
around the
mode.
table.
Every time
quickly."
I get excited about their model range and stuff like that, I look at their rules, and that's why I save some money.
It makes sense. It makes me
Narek,
sad.
thank you for the 10 euros. It feels weird that Flawless Blades will do bad against 3-wound elite Space Marine units like Terminators and Blade Guard. I think that is exactly the enemy they would seek out on the battlefield in the lore. I agree.
Yeah, they've been given the curse of 2 damage melee attacks, which
It's-
are not to the best.
Blade Guard probably clap them as well.
Blade Guard might genuinely win that fight. 'cause
Blade
they've
Guard
got
do win that
They've
fight.
got a better in button. and
More
it's
attacks.
Strength 5 versus toughness 5.
Blade Guard
yeah?
got 4 attacks each?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's strength 5 versus
The
toughness.
Blades are go to 5 attacks on the charge.
And they're higher strength.
And strength
Yeah.
7.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's
so,
rough.
yeah. And the thing is, though, like,
Because are they toughness 5, 3 wounds, 5 pin button?
yeah. And throughout the same. Whereas Blade Guard are toughness 4, is 3 wounds, but they've got 4 up
The 4 up in button is
re-rollable
the
in
thing,
them.
yeah.
Because they as soon as the flawless blades go in the core and reroll main buttons.
Well,
Yeah.
also, let's not forget the fact that if they're not a random like Blood Angels or whatever, you can also go Oath. Then they get
Yeah.
reroll hits and +1 wound.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right, Narek. I think you're right. Flawless Blades. I think narratively, Flawless Blades should walk into that fight and go, "I'm very confident."
Yeah.
And barring dice rolling, it doesn't work. Fine, because
So
sometimes
this is the kind of chaos curse, isn't it? It's like Space Marines have a rule and they have a unit. Chaos have a unit like it, but slightly worse.
Yeah, but if you look at 8-bound, mate,
Yeah,
like
it's-
8-bound actually hit.
Well, it's the problem is they went like they're a toughness 5, 3 wound Space Marine unit that has to fit into a hole that's not already existing. You know,
I still like Flawless Blades a lot, but
Yeah, definitely.
I do feel like one, they're not going to, like Narek suggested, they're not going to fulfill the narrative. Fine, but I feel like you can't use them like 8-bound
No,
or even
exactly.
Blade Guard. They're a scalpel rather than a hammer.
Yeah.
I think that's how you're going to have to use them.
what you need to do, right? So like one of the units they're going to despise going into is something like Sanguinary Guard
Oh, yeah.
or
Anything in
Deathwing
the
Terminators.
world with -1 damage is
Yeah.
a rough day for them.
Yeah. So, but I think it's like where you have. This is where you talked about the idea that like you have to use your units in conjunction with other units. You can't just go, this unit deals with that one deals with that one. So in the Sanguinary Guard situation, you go, cool, my Tormentors are going to melt a gun and plasma gun your character to death, right? And then I'll charge you with my Force Blade so you're not -1 to wound anymore.
Would you
kind of
suggest
thing.
that sort of similar to Eldar, this Codex has a high skill ceiling?
Yeah, this is probably going to be like the gamers.
I think
Chaos
so.
Space
So
Marine.
I think this has one of those beautiful parts where it's got a relatively low skill floor to be able to use the army competently. They're power armored Marines ultimately.
You go quick.
But although the skill floor is low, you're not going to turn up to every game and just be able to win. To do that, it's got a high skill ceiling where you're going to have to learn how to work
I
those
don't
combos.
see initially this army having a high win rate.
No, I
Agree.
Because I don't see the competitive players jumping on it.
No, I would say that I'd say similar to you saying that they've done a very good job with the book, similar to Guard and Eldar. But I'd say Guard and Eldar are like up here on the power scale, rather than they're like one below. Because
Yeah.
I don't think they do enough damage reliably to just like absolutely smash someone off the table.
If Eldar are an A or S tier, Emperor Children
I'd
or a
say-
B or A tier.
Yeah, exactly. They're one tier down at the
Yeah,
moment.
100%.
So I think they might have just thought, show a bit of restraint with the new army, new rules, just see how it goes with this release.
Strong agree.
Yeah.
And then similar to Eldar, to be fair, they can just tweak it as it goes forwards.
Yep. Ash, thank you for the 2. Says flawed blades. They are a little bit flawed.
How many points actually are they these days?
Let me check, but I think it's about 110.
110 for 3.
So they're more expensive than
Yeah, the 220
Blade
for 6,
Guard.
I think.
But they do have a lot more rules to stack up on them.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it?
flawless blades. Yeah, from the Codex they dropped 20 points to 110.
Oh, but
But-
they're 130.
They were,
Jeez.
but 220 for 6. Let's not forget also they've got fullback and charge, advance and charge. So,
And
it's
they're
not
very,
bad.
they're very quick.
They I think
When they charge, they get crits on 3.
in
Yeah,
the right-
AP3,
AP3,
which is
damage, so
rare.
hitting on 2s as well. So I think that they're a good trading unit if you need to get something done and dealt with. And I think if you're too aggressive with them, they'll die.
Yeah.
I think you just have to. I think the one thing I like about this army, right, and I've experienced it whilst painting it, right, is like, oh, thank God, I only have to paint 18 Noise Marines
Yeah.
because it's some of their stuff's just not enjoyable to paint.
I think they look like they're going to be really
They're a
good
really
to play.
nice model, right? If you like really care about them, you want them, and you want to do loads of hyper details on them, they'd be great. But it's like there's lots of little annoying bits on them, kind of thing that you can't get done quickly, right?
Interesting.
As someone who had to get them done quickly, but it's like
Yeah, I've seen some other people struggle to get them done quickly.
yeah, and it's like I think I've done a good job in comparison to some of the ones I've seen.
Yeah, I'd agree.
And
We're going to name any names, Jay?
no, but
No,
I do like
no,
the
we're
fact. I do like the fact compared to like Chaos Space Marines, which have loads and loads of profiles, right? And they have loads of units.
Who is it, Jay?
I'm not gonna say. So I like the idea that you go. I've got 3 units of I've got 3 units of Noise Marines. I've got 3 units of Flawless Blades. I've got some core infantry. I don't have to get much to make a full army.
Yeah, that is true.
Who is
And
it,
it
Jay?
is
You mum.
it's still an elite army as well.
Yeah.
So you don't have to get an insane amount of units to get it together.
Yeah.
Okay. They are a bit flawed, Ash. They're not. I don't think they're perfect.
I do think though, like if they did increase any of their stats, like they might suddenly become insanely good.
Again, I think maybe making the champion 3 damage, little bits like that. I think, and what I have to, one of the things I think they've done really nicely in this book as well is they have some beautiful stratagems you can use on them.
Oh yeah,
which do make them better.
things
I'm
So
really glad they
in-
didn't get death wounds anywhere because that'd have been scary.
In some certain matchups, right, though, the thing is, though, they're a very rock, paper, scissors unit. Flawless Blades, right? Because you know who hates them? Knights.
Yeah, true.
Knights are going to despise Flawless Blades.
They
got a unit that moves 8, advances and charges that can hide behind a wall, torpedo through all the walls that you can't see me through,
Yeah.
and then I hit you on 2s, wounding you on 3s at AP3 damage 2.
And
a
they
baby
do-
lights are like, bloop,
They don't
dead.
have an invuln against melee, so they save on 6s.
Yeah, just falls flat dead.
yeah.
If you've got a 6-man unit with Lucius, they'll body a big knight in a
You don't even
one-round
need
combat.
Lucius for that. You just need like probably 6 of them to do it.
Well, 6, yeah. They're 6
Genuinely, I
would-
think you would.
6 of them will flatten.
Yeah.
Well, they'll do a really good job of killing a big knight, but obviously saves exist.
We
in
also
hitting
have
a
to
wound.
remember, though, one caveat I want to add once we're talking about these flawless blades before we move on to Gaz's super chat, is that when you do go for crits on 3s, you have to kill the thing.
Yeah.
Because if you
Oh,
don't,
yeah.
you lose a model. So it's one of those situations where if a knight player kills a single one before they make their charge, for example, there's a real risk at that point that 5 might not body a baby knight.
Yeah.
And if they don't, and they've activated their, we're going to do crits on 3s, you lose another one.
I think so. I think you send them after the little knights, and then you just have shooting to deal with the big stuff.
I do think 5 will very reliably kill a little one because they're saved on 6s.
Yeah, okay, all right, that's fair.
In-
But what I'm
in
saying,
one-
you get my point.
I
though.
understand what you're trying to say.
What you can do, Tom, right, is in my favourite detachment, is you make them AP4.
Oh yeah, then they
Have
didn't
the
even get a
save.
save.
Like, boop,
At
there's
that
Mexico
point, they will just die.
Yeah. So I think
What happens when you don't get safe?
Yeah.
they have some drawbacks, but I do think the flawless blades are really good at, like you said, they're a scalpel. They're really good at a specific job.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Gaz, thank you for the 2. Rules aside, aesthetically, what's your favourite? My aesthetically, my favourite thing in the whole book is Lucius. He is the one model that, without doubt, I will be picking up myself just as a painting project, because the one, if Games Workshop send us one, it'll probably get given to Joe to paint quickly for the Channel Army. He, I think, is a stunning model.
Yeah.
That being said, I love the flawless blade, and I know people have whinged about the cone heads. I love the flawless blades, heads included.
They've got head options anyway.
I think they look great, though. I think they look amazing.
Keith Rogers is not lethal on 3+. They get critical wounds on 3+. So a critical wound, a 6 naturally is a critical wound. It wounds everything. You can go to critical wounds 5s. Critical for wounds 4+ is what you get things like anti-infantry on.
Yeah, it's kind of a new rule, isn't it?
Yeah,
critical wounds.
Whereas
is a 3-up.
it's where they get a critical wound on a 3+, which means that any roll of 3 or more, they just wound it.
Yeah,
versus
a
anything.
3+, if you get critical wounds on 3s, you roll to wound, and any 3+ successfully wounds.
Yeah.
Irrespective. Even if the opponent's got minus on a wound, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter at all. Ignores
matter.
everything.
Yeah.
Right?
It's the same. It's like having anti-everything.
Yeah, kind of. Stu Will, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Oh, sorry, hang on. Before we do that, Gaz has said aesthetically what's your favourite. I've said Lucius and Flawless Blades, and you two haven't answered. How very rude.
I like Lucius, but I really like the Tormented kit.
Yeah?
Just the basic infantry guys, they go together really well. The set's really good. The only thing that bugs me about the set is there's only 5 bodies. And
Unrepeated.
then it's just repeated.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there's enough heads and arm options that, like, you won't see the duplicates.
Yeah,
you
of
know.
course.
They're just a really nice kit. They're really satisfying to paint because there's not huge amounts of trim on them. Even the shoulder pads are great. I think, the basic infantry and Lucius is great.
Yeah, fair.
Any favourites, Tom?
I actually really like the Noise Marines, to be honest.
I do, actually.
I like they've gone real hard into the Noise Marine aesthetic with them. Like, they didn't hold back. I thought they held back a little bit on the Battle Line guys.
Yeah.
But, like, Noise Marines are full-on actual Noise Marines with, like, all the speakers coming out and the crazy faces on the guns.
I love the Noise Marines.
Yeah,
They're
that's
cool.
my pick.
Okay. I'm here for it. Thanks, Gav, for the 2. Stu Will, like I said, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. You can now give him a hope.
I hope, Stu, Will, that your car has no issues for an entire year. Just flies through its next MOT. No problems.
I don't think I've ever passed an MOT. Like, first
I
time.
have after I put about 500 quid to it in the same day.
We're still on 26 members, you beautiful humans, which means 24, 5 lots of 5 away. 24 will get us to halfway. You beautiful, sexual, wonderful chat. Ash, thank you for the 5. Are you allowed to use the not yet for pre-order models, or will you guys be proxying Titan's Approach, or just use starter box plus 3 Helldrakes? The not yet for pre-order models, we don't have them.
Yeah.
And if we did have them, we wouldn't be allowed to use them because they'll be under NDA, of course, because they're not on pre-order, which is how I always make. Ash, I love you dearly, but this always makes me laugh. When people are like, what's the rules? Same as every other time.
Yeah.
Is it on pre-order? No, we can't use it.
Does it exist yet in the world?
I've converted
No,
up
can't
a
use
Lord
it.
Cacophonist, which I'm converting up, but like the conversion I've done, I think is good, and he fits aesthetically. But the moment the Cacophonist model comes out, there's a high chance I'll probably just end up.
Yeah, and so we can't use anything that we don't have or isn't available for pre-order.
Yeah.
We have also decided you've not got the Cacophonist on the table now, have you? For tonight.
No.
We've also decided for this week's previews that we're going to showcase what you guys can get your hands on. So we're not proxying Flawless Blades, we've not converted Flawless Blades, we're not proxying Lucius, we've not bought Forge-Old Fulgrim, even though I offered about a month ago to buy him Forge-Old Fulgrim, and
If you want to buy it, look, if you
he
want to
said
buy
no, and now I'm too poor to. So,
honestly, if you want to order Fulgrim today, I'll take it.
so
Really?
we're just how very
Shocking.
He'll be on the table next week, no problem.
So we
No questions asked.
I wouldn't mind betting it's gone. I'd love to look, but I bet it's sold out.
that
So
would
Probably.
we're only going to be using the stuff that's available to us. Okay, which means we're also only using the stuff that's available to you.
Me too.
And when GW put the pre-order up for Lucius and Fulgrim, we'll do a second round of preview content, and we'll use those guys then. All right.
Because we're only doing 3 Emperor's Children games as well.
Yeah, we've got 3 Emperor's Children games. So today, Thursday against Eldar with me, Tuesday against you with whatever faction you choose, and then Thursday Paddy and I are playing, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Cool. There you go, Ash. Thank you for the 5, you legend. Dan, thank you for the 2. Is the Ground Demon Prince -1 AP aura melee only? I don't know. Let's have a look, shall I? I can do this because I have the book right
If
here.
that is the case, we've definitely played the game wrong.
Fulgrim is sold out.
I did one.
Temporarily out of stock.
Demon Prince of Slanesh on foot without the wings. While a friendly Slanesh unit is within 6 inches of the model, if the unit makes a charge move this turn, improve the armor penetration characteristic of melee. So it will be fight phase anyway, won't it? If this unit has made a charge move this turn, not battle round, improve the AP characteristic of melee weapons equipped by models in that unit by 1.
It's pretty good.
Still fucking great.
I
innit?
do really like the Forge Up. I think I might like it more.
I definitely like it more.
I think I prefer the Forge Up
version.
one.
It's the opposite of Angron.
I think it's just because he doesn't have that derp face.
There's a couple of faces I really don't mind for the plastic one. If you want the Forge Roll one, when it comes back in stock, if I'm not that poor, I can get you that one, which means I can keep the plastic one for me.
Yeah. But I really like the molded.
He said yes.
Yeah.
That's a yes.
Yeah, if you want to do it, that's fine.
If you want to buy me Forge World, he's not going to stop you.
Yeah.
Not on 27 members, we're not.
That's true.
Thank you anyway. Yeah, it is melee only.
Southampton fog, by the way, who expects fog tomorrow.
Yeah, well, so no,
Dense fog.
it's supposed to be either tomorrow or Thursday. The weather's supposed to turn not so great again, isn't it? But this is beautiful.
It's
at the
so
moment.
nice outside.
I even rode the bike over today because it's so fucking beautiful.
Oh, it's lovely, isn't it?
It's
quite
so
cold,
nice.
but the sun is great.
It wasn't cold coming over today.
No.
It will be. Well, it's one of the reasons why I was like, Tom, do you want to produce? Because I want to ride the bike over, which means I don't want to be riding home at 11:30 at -1.
I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Well, you'll be.
Oh,
Leaving.
he nearly took out the monitor.
You'll be in the car, so the -1's fine, right? Because you'll be able to put your heater on.
After a bit, yeah.
The bike has got heated grips, to be fair, but still.
Love a heated grip.
You got 500 last time, that'll pay for it. Yeah, but not if, like, people don't seem to realise this, right? A night like last night is incredible and unbelievable and humbling at the same time. But then you have to watch what happens for the next 3 weeks. Because if the night goes up and the rest of the weeks go down, fine, cool, okay, great, beautiful, right? But if the night goes mad and the rest of the weeks are still as high, then I can buy Joe fancy Fulgrim.
Yeah.
So I have to make
Don't
sure.
worry, you don't have to buy full Angron Forge World.
No, I
No
don't think
one
you'd want
wants
that. No, I'm sure you are waiting for Breaker Boys and Tank Busters, though, Tom. Still,
Maybe. And then the new World Eaters kills him, they announced.
oh mate,
Can we talk about that one?
I need to. Yeah, I need to see them in person and up close
so
at some
cool.
point. Get them to us fast. Get them to us shop.
Yeah.
If you're going to send them to us, but I am in love with those.
I really like them. They look so cool. I fucking love the double-handed like chain glaive thing they've got. Is like their main weapon.
And the idea,
and they've got a harpoon.
The narrative idea they've hacked their own legs off. To
Yeah,
fit,
the narrative of just like we saw a bloodletter, so we then cut our own legs off to make ourselves look more like a bloodletter. I'm so here for it.
Oh man, they're fucking gorgeous.
I've seen-
what I really want to know though, I'm sorry, Ash, I do love you very, very dearly. But what I do want to know is what their 40k rules are going to be. I don't give a fuck about their kill team rules.
Same.
I don't care.
If
I
they
want to know
get
what their 40K rules
infiltrate,
will be.
that'll be mental.
I would like to think that infiltrate on mechanical leg lunatics is actually probably a possibility.
I can imagine they ever get like scout or infiltrate as a rule.
I don't think they should get infiltrate.
It's because you don't want me to have infiltrate.
I would think they should get infiltrate if he played well.
Oh
Regis.
yeah. All the complaining about every army should have infiltrate and the
but
worldies
I think
don't have it.
the difference is that your ability to scout, advance, and charge with 18 8-bound.
No, only 12.
Why? I thought you could do
You
3
only scout
units.
2 units.
I thought you could scout 2 plus the unit that he joins.
No.
Okay.
Because remember, if you have a character that has
But
scout,
don't normal
your unit that
8-bound
doesn't
have scout in
Regular 8-bound have scout.
Not exalted.
Oh, so what you're saying is you can have 18 scouting 8-bound
Yeah.
and 12 scouting exalted 8-bound, right?
Yeah.
And if you've got 2 infiltrating units, if you deploy first, realistically, your entire army is in combat turn 1.
Yeah, your entire army can charge the 10-man unit that's screening your army.
We could just go around it. Well, if your opponent doesn't have infiltrate,
Yeah.
right, then they've lost. There's no winning that game. Yeah.
Well, right, so if I did, as you say, do 18, 8-bound, 12 exalted, all scout at the board, charge a thing in front, kill 1 unit, then it's my opponent's turn, and all my units die.
I love the fact as well that Wildy is just aren't anywhere near winning in events anywhere, but he's like the most broken army
but
ever.
if you've got infiltrate...
Yeah, we have like a 40% win
If you've got
rate.
infiltrate, your opponent can't
No,
infiltrate
but what
their
I'm
stuff.
saying is they can still put a screen in front of their army, which then blocks my army.
Yeah, but that doesn't cover their entire deployment zone.
Well, neither does the infiltrators that he's got.
I think it'll be too powerful.
Joe has a strong bias against this.
I know, yeah.
So I'm going to ignore it.
Yeah, it's very fair. Farmer George, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships.
I hope, Farmer George, that the cost of animal feed drops by 20%.
Good hope.
Pretty good. Pretty
I
good.
hope, yeah. Long as he's an animal farmer and not a seed farmer.
He farms cows.
A seaman farmer.
Yeah, Stevens farmer, yeah. Get this money in that.
Well, that
Kev,
was Joe's last job.
thank you for the 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you, Kev. I hope that your local Greg's at 5 o'clock every day gives away just 3 bags of food that they can't get rid of.
I love a Greg's.
I love it, Greg's.
It's just such shit food, but I love it.
That's great.
Kaz, thank you for the 2. Real question is, where are the soul grinders? I love a soul grinder.
Well, soul
They
grinders
can
demon
get in the
unit,
bin
aren't
where
they?
they deserve to be.
I
Well,
love those
I
models.
hate
So
them.
unlike
much.
demon print, so soul grinders are demon printers where they're not specifically god aligned,
Yeah.
and that's why they're not there. They're not a specific.
Well, I mean, neither are
Slash
like
Legion
Forge Fiends or Mauler Fiends or...
Yeah, but they're a space marine unit, whereas soul grinders are a demon unit.
Oh, wait, which one's the
Soul grinders are like
what's
defilers.
the other one?
Defiler.
Is there a Defiler?
Yeah, so defilers are
Defiler is
Chaos Space
one of the dumbest looking models.
That's
in
probably the one I'm
existence.
thinking of, to be fair. Is
The
there a
Soul
Defiler
Grinder
in that?
The Soul Grinder one's got the crab legs, and then it's got the body coming out of it with the
Oh,
sword.
yeah.
the best ones.
Also dumb.
Yeah.
But I love it.
Fair.
That's a dumb that I'm here for.
If you love it, you love it.
Thank you, Arkingdor, for the $2. Hope new codexes continue trend. Yeah, I hope it do. If this is a trend, I think it's really positive right now.
Yeah, we've not had, touchwood, we've not had a bad one in a while, so I'd imagine it'd be World Eaters.
Well, on that one, we have that in 2 questions time. Simran, thank you for the $5. Think Emperor's Children have enough variety now? Opinion at our club is prefer to wait for the next wave for more unit choice. Also, Games Workshop to show hand on Chaos Future. I don't think they do. So, in terms of I'll see what these 2 think in just a second. But in terms of detachment rules, stratagems, etc., there's a ton of variety there, and I think that's really, really cool. In terms of data sheets, I'm still in the camp that they don't have enough variety for me to make me really want to collect this army. I think if they'd have had 2 or 3 more units that are Emperor's Children, and I literally mean 2 or 3 more units that are Emperor's Children specific, I'd have really struggled to resist collecting this army when they came out. At the moment, I want to paint Lucius. I wouldn't mind having a go at Fulgrim. I don't really care about collecting the army, though. That's me personally. I think there's enough variety, but Joe's building the lists.
I think that there's the perfect amount of units.
Really?
Because if there was more variety, they have to spread the rules out more, right? So if there was more units in the army, I think Infractors and Tormentors wouldn't have the infiltrate and scout, or they wouldn't have the precision kind of thing. I think by giving people a more limited thing is they can get more of a focus in learning the army. And it's also a great way of Games Workshop to be like, well, where are we going to take this army in the future? What is it? If we give it too much now, we can't see what it's lacking in the future.
All points I agree with.
Yeah.
100% absolutely agree with everything you've said.
Yeah.
And like it plays. And also they got a thing like they don't want to just release a 4th god army that just plays a bit like everyone else, all the other chaos armies. This is very specifically different in style and aesthetic to what we already have.
Definitely true. I think you can keep that style and still have a couple more units, though.
Yeah, I think this is what I'm saying. 2 or 3 more units for me. I think would have been enough to tempt me.
The lack of cultists did surprise me.
Definitely needed a cultist unit. That's insane. They don't have that.
And now Worldies are getting a second one.
The Worldies are getting a second one, which looks pretty cool.
We assume.
What I would like.
We don't even know.
I think the
40K
problem
rules.
is, right, in my head, I feel like they forgot to put in the book if you're outside of the demon detachment, you can take 500 points of summoned chaos demons.
Okay, right.
Because realistically, the demonettes fill in the cultist role, kind of thing.
I don't know if they do.
And then they're a bit more expensive,
Yeah.
but a big 10-man blob of demons that can like deep strike and do actions or just hold objectives. Like fiends fill the role of the bike unit that's kind of missing from the army, kind of thing.
I don't think you need a bike unit, to be fair.
But it's like they fill that kind of real fast moving,
I'd
oppressive unit. Like the demons fill gaps in this army that Games Workshop have said, well, you can take them. We did tell you could take them, but you can take them if you want to take them, kind of thing. I think that there was just a little line from the army rules section where you can take, like, you can take...
What's interesting is there is a little line in the army rule section, exactly like you describe.
Yeah.
It says to be able to quote and be very specific rather than getting it wrong. They specifically put a thing in called Pact of Excess. When mustering your army, unless specifically stated otherwise, you cannot select Legions of Excess as your army faction.
Okay, so you have one detachment that you can take demons in.
Yeah.
That's what it says, yeah.
I'm not loving the way they put demons in this book, to be honest.
I was really hoping it would be more like the Age of Sigmar version.
Yeah, same. I was much more excited for an AOS style where it's kind of the same army almost.
Yeah. And like the demon detachment doesn't really go... Instead of the 500 points you can normally take, you can take 1,000.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of it, honestly. Like, especially as that's basically just said you can't take demons in any of the other detachments as well. That's a bit sad.
Yeah, it's a bit odd.
So then you have the Carnival of Excess that allows you can include Legions of Excess units in your army, even though they do not have the Emperor's Children faction keyword. The combined points of such units you can include of your army is 500,000, 1,500. No Legions of Excess models from your army can be your warlord. So this tells me there'll be a Demons Codex.
That's
Without
what I
doubt.
was thinking as well.
Without doubt. Here's my theory. Here's my theory on your summoned keyword, Joe. And I have no influence or intuition here. Yeah. I have no knowledge of this whatsoever. Here's my theory. Everything in this book that is Slanesh Demons will not be in the Demons Codex. Everything that's not in this book that's Slanesh Demons will be in the Demons Codex. The same will happen for World Eaters, Thousand Suns, or Death Guard. And I think what will then happen is the Demons Codex will unlock what that summoned rule means for bringing in the extra Slanesh units. That's what I think. How that works exactly, I don't know, but that's my theory behind it. I think we're going to see a Demons Codex that's taken Shalaxi out, taken Keeper of Secrets out. You might still have Celeste or whatever those other ones are in there, but takes those things out, and then there'll be an interaction somehow, I think, with the codexes.
Summoned also implies that there'll be some kind of demon summoning.
Here's the other reason.
Well, I don't know. That could just be fancy keyword.
Here's the other reason why I think that's what
nonsense.
nonsense. Here's the other reason why I think that's what nonsense will happen is because if you wanted to use all 4, then you'd have to buy 5 books. It's a very GW move, isn't it?
If this is the only way you can play demons going forward, I'd be very surprised. Like, surely, I know they've already done 4 detachments, 5 detachments now for demons actually, but surely they'll get a codex because this is not enough for demon players to just be like, I can have half my demons in this one detachment in this one book. Yeah,
I wanted my personal preference, although demon players will hate me for this, is to get rid of the Demons Codex and really expand the. So I would have put all the Slanesh demons in the book and added Soul Grinders and added something like something else. I would have then got rid of Demons Codexes altogether. Yeah. My personal preference. I don't really play a lot of mixed god stuff anyway, so I don't really care about that. A lot of demon players will disagree with me. That's fine. I'm just telling you what my preference is. because of exactly what you've just said. That's why I now think we'll see a Demons Codex.
Yeah.
There's not enough now to play.
There's not enough in that
But
book to play him.
I'd like to, like I said, I would like to have seen no Demon Codex, and then you go, here's all the Sinesh demons in this book. If you want to, you can run a mono Sinesh demon army, right? And if your army, if you only have legions of excess, your army rule is this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then they move Be'lakor into the Space Marine Codex.
Yeah.
Yeah, CSM.
Yeah.
On that note, thank you, Limey Panda, who's got a question specifically for you and I, Tom.
Oh, yeah.
Does the Emperor's Children book make you excited or nervous for your World Eaters Codex?
I am excited about the number of detachments that Emperor's Children have got and the variety of rules they have. I think that's really good and way more than I thought they would get, considering how the one World Eaters Codex we've ever had only had 2 detachments. I would really like to have more than that in the future. I'm a little bit nervous that World Eaters might not get that many more units in our next wave, mainly because I can see them saying, here's your new character with generic rules or whatever, but also you're getting all these demon data sheets, and these are your new units.
Yeah.
How happy are you?
The new, not new.
And then all the World Eaters players are like, but I play World Eaters, not demons.
Yeah.
And then they're like, tough, you're taking it.
There is something beautiful about Angron and Bloodthirsters all on the table together.
I am so here for that.
But yeah, you're right.
But realistically, I would rather have actual World Eaters units.
I tell you what, I'll put it this way: if they were to release the World Eaters Codex with one single new model or unit, everything we currently have, add the demons detachments, add the demons units, and give us the level of detachment variety that Emperor's Children have, I would consider myself happy and excited.
Yeah.
And I would like to see more units, to be clear. I'd like to see a proper wave 2 with
Can someone clip that? Just in case it comes out like that and you're not happy.
No, but if you have that,
I'll be the salty one.
But if World Eaters got 6 data sheets with the level of variety that they've got with the current range, I think that would be quite good. I think I'd be quite happy with that.
Do you reckon they'll get 8 detachments?
I think that'd be
Surely
too much.
not.
I think you need a significantly sized wave 2 to be able to sustain 8 detachments.
If they had 8, I think you'd have to double the.
That would be like
range.
that would be like the general like demon and they'd be like the brass stampede.
Yeah.
So it'd be like all the juggalos.
Sorry, carry on.
What I really want is Lord of Macaris to get fly back and for his detachment to give everyone fly.
Yeah.
I would like to see the same level of data sheets and rules and etc. and variety that we've got in Emperor Children with a decent second wave of models.
Yeah, I'd be happy with like 2 or 3.
I'm talking 3 units, 4 units, maybe one of those being a character and then 2 units. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I want a sleigh.
And I don't care if
by juggalos. A sleigh, like Santa's sleigh, but pulled by juggalos.
I wouldn't say no.
Indicius has said Red Butchers, please. If one of those units removed World Eaters Terminators from the Codex and added Red Butchers, I would be happy.
I own 20 and I'd happily get rid of them for Red Butchers.
Yeah, so despite the fact that it's a net gain of 0, if they removed Chaos Terminators and added Red Butchers with a Red Butchers kit, I'd be happy.
Would you be happy, though, if it was only units of 5?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I don't care what the
if their rules were good enough.
Yeah.
If you looked at their rules and went, they're going to struggle to
that
keep
was
anything.
the biggest spit in the face I've ever had. Right?
Lies.
I'm going to take your favorite. We're going to take your favorite unit ever, Chaos Terminators, and we're going to reduce them to 5 and give them a terrible unit.
When we got the data sheet, when we got the rules months ago, I flicked through all the data sheets, all of them. I looked at the Terminators and I was like, they're just a bit rubbish. And it wasn't until yesterday when one of the Thanes said to me, can you confirm they're only taking the units of 5? And I looked and I was like, they're shit on their own anyway.
I only realised because I watched Art of War doing a review of it and was like, they're even worse than I thought.
Exactly.
You can't even have them as like a brick.
They're like, they're only because like Chaos Terminators are only good in 10 because it means that you just have a few more power fists that you actually need in the unit to be able to achieve anything.
Yeah, because their main thing is survivability, and you really want 10 for that.
Yeah,
5 are quite easy to kill.
Otherwise, in a unit of 5, because there's not much deep strike in the book, I don't want to have to pay 170 points for like a 5-man unit that deep strikes in the back and it's slow and doesn't really do much.
Yeah,
I don't know. I am excited for World Eaters.
I would say though for World Eaters, I would, if I was, as we've obviously not seen anything, so I'm not giving anything away, but I would say like, don't buy any Predators, don't buy any Forge Fiends, looking at Emperor's Children.
Just in case.
Just because I'm now thinking, I'd say stuff that is generic CSM and is in Emperor's Children is probably safe.
Yeah.
Anything else, I'd be worried.
Yeah, absolutely. Door, thank you for the $5. Liam, have you been making out Death Guard? That's why you've been so sick this winter. No, I made the fatal mistake at the end of the year saying, we haven't been sick this year. And then the universe went, hold my beer for the next 2 months.
I mean, I think I can claim the sickest person in the room
this year.
for this year.
Yeah,
so
100%.
I also went, I've not been sick this year at all. And then I died.
That's the thing. That's what gets you.
We have taken it in turns.
Yeah, that's true.
Joe went first. I came second. Always. And then Tom third. Door, thank you for the 1 gifted membership. You're a hero. Kazarian, thank you for the 2. When does the app update? Saturday tally, guess. Yes, absolutely. That's the other question that will come out repeatedly on Saturday. When it comes out, when the box comes out, everyone's like, when's the app update? It doesn't.
It won't. I don't think. I don't
Actually,
think
that's
they'll.
a good point. It won't until the full army comes out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Which really
It's awful.
bugs me. The guard release really funked me off, right? This one, not so much because it is a standalone, right? But it's like, this is my first time I've had a new army.
Yeah.
A new army.
Yeah. New.
It's a new army that's had an army box set. Like I never got in on the Sisters of Battle. Like I never really got in on the Votan and stuff. Like this is my first time, and I'm quite excited. I'm quite happy with the fact, like, I've got army box, I can slow grow it. You know, I've got a bit of this, but writing army lists, you know,
I really enjoyed you sitting down with pen and paper this morning.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out what numbers were.
You know that computer there's got Excel.
Oh yeah, but I don't know the code to turn that on.
How are your Excel skills?
I'm fine on Excel. I can write lists on Excel. I could do it on my phone, but doing Excel on your phone through Sheets is a nightmare.
Yeah.
I hate it.
You could just text me and say, what's the code?
Yeah, but couldn't be bothered. It would. By the time I would have replied, and like let's be honest, like you're awful at replying to text messages.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
You are quite possibly the worst human being I know at replying to text messages.
That is true.
I'll ask you a question about work, and I won't hear from you. Right? I'll message you 5 hours later, a really bitchy comment about someone or something. Instant reply.
That's not true. Not all the time.
Not all the time, but a lot of the time. But or like back in the day, I asked you about something, no response. But you're blessed with Call of Duty. You're like, yeah, be on in 5 minutes. You know, just make a cup of tea.
Then you ask me on the headset, and I'll give you the answer.
Yeah. Well, so I'll see that
I'm a busy man,
you've
Joe.
read it, and then be like, no response.
Do you know what? Actually, I'll be straight up. I'm very glad you're saying this live on air, because I'm sure there's a number of people that get very upset when they message me.
I've had people talk to me like, I messaged Liam, had no response. I might join the club. Get in the queue.
The point is that at least people are aware it's not personal.
Yeah, I work for him and I get no response. So like, don't think like you're specifically being targeted.
No, it's universal disregard.
I get a lot of messages, Jay. They're not trying to be a flex at all, but
you're like, I've got like quiet mode, so only like my wife and you get through that. You still fucking ignore me anyway.
Actually, all of the team get through it.
Yeah,
all the team get through it.
Well, it's good to know that you are actively ignoring them too as well.
I am, yeah, all of them, every single one.
So yeah.
Is that why you didn't reply to that photo? What photo?
Did he send you dick pics?
What photo? Okay, anyway, thank you, Kazarian, for that. And then finally, Wee Man, thank you for 5 gifted memberships. Put us on 32 of the finest members this afternoon.
I hope for you and everyone else that they release like a version of Fairy Liquid that breaks down like grease and fat, but you could use it as like a shampoo. So it's like a weight loss shampoo. That's more for myself.
Wait, what?
So he wants to rub a chemical on him that breaks down his grease and fat. Yeah. That's what I'm getting from this.
Yeah.
You want to break down your own body with Fairy Liquid?
Yeah. I don't use Fairy Liquid, Joe. Just go on Google. Get yourself some hydrochloric acid. It does the same thing.
Nah,
It will have the same effect.
I've got some isopropyl alcohol at home.
Yeah.
You know,
and that will degrease.
Yeah.
It does degrease very well. In fact. Liam has been ignoring 92% of typing.
Yeah.
Gaz is right.
I the idea is you can just buy Fairy Liquid. You can use a shampoo as well. Well, technically you can anyway.
What, like a 12-in-1 shampoo?
Yeah.
That's literally everything you'd ever want.
Yeah.
So we have our first Emperor's Children game tonight, Joe. You'll be taking on the mighty Brom and his orcs. I've seen his list.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what, actually? Has he showed you his list?
He sent me a list, which was bully boys with 1 unit of 3 mega knobs and
which
1
is-
unit of knobs.
which is a mistake.
And I was like, please go back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
Like, because what the first thing will be happen
Try
is people,
again.
the entire internet will be like, why have you taken bully boys? This is a waste of our time and
Yeah.
your time.
I need to. Where is it? Where's his message? So far down because of all these messages. So he sent me a Warhorde list.
Oh, yeah.
He has Snickrot, Mozrog, Scragbad, a war boss, and another war boss. Some boys, a 20-man boys unit, a 10-man boys unit, a truck, 5 breaker boys, 10 Gretchen, 10 commandos, 10 knobs, 5 knobs, 6 Squighog boys with 2 Squighog knobs, 5 storm boys, 5 storm boys, 5 storm boys.
That seems
It's actually
that
alright
seems
for a Brom
alright.
list, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
It's actually right for a Brom list.
Did he take the whole please stop taking guns to heart?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you've listened
Please.
to what I've just said there. There's not a lot of
Yeah,
guns.
the best gun he's got in there is like a bolt
Is a
pistol.
slugger.
Yeah, a slugger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
He'll
what he's
still fire
running.
it. He'll still fire it.
Oh, yeah, he's still, yeah. Ash, the super chat says, any chance of a list preview, Joe?
So that's what Brom's taking tonight.
Yeah.
You're going to be facing with Emperor's Children. Tom's on the deck because I need to go home and do some work.
You don't do any work at home.
That has possibly been true for some of last year. It's not.
I like to think that when you go home, you half build a model and then just spin in circles on your computer chair.
I
drinking
would like
tea
to
and
do that,
coffee,
Joe. I'll be
yeah.
honest.
Yeah. Just stare at the wall. And you just watch your phone vibrate when people message you.
I honestly,
Laugh.
do you know what?
Fools.
I legitimately said to Luce, I dropped Luce off at and the boys off at the park this morning, and I legitimately said to Luce, I was like, I'm actually tempted to see if a Joe and Tom show can work,
Yeah?
just to free up some time.
Yeah. It won't. Because what will happen is
I
that
know
I'll
what will
say
happen.
stuff that specifically pisses him off. Right? Because I can't help myself.
That might genuinely end in physical
Right.
violence.
And then
if
we'll
we
just,
have to talk for
and
2
then we'll
hours.
just bicker for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, that's content, mate.
Yeah.
It's good content.
Yeah. So list for
But
tonight.
it won't be live as well.
2 Lords Exultant, a Demon Prince with feet, a Demon Prince with wings, 20 Tormentors, 10 Infractors, 18 Noise Marines, a Land Raider.
Rhino?
I don't know if the Rhinos are in the list, but it might be a Rhino, yeah. Yeah.
And your favourite guy?
Oh, and the Helldrake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you running a blue Helldrake? with
running
your
a blue
children?
Helldrake, yeah.
I mean, I think they can forgive us. The amount of stuff you've got ready.
Tomorrow, I specifically got planned to paint 2 Helldrakes.
To be honest with you, I don't often praise you too heavily. The amount that you've painted is we had nothing. We now have a lot. So, I think we can forgive a single Helldrake being in blue.
I had to add my Demon Prince to my list. I've painted 200 models this year.
To be fair, you've done a good job in the episode as well, considering how much
Exactly.
time you have.
With that Demon Prince, exactly 200 models now.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Right, you wonderful human beings. I've got to go because I've got half an hour before I've got another call that I need to deal with. So you have got that tonight. You've got Emperor's Children, that list-ish, versus Brom and his 2,000 points of Orcs Warhorde tonight. Tom will be on the deck. I'll hang around for probably the first half an hour and then I need to go home.
Oh, we got less now. You said earlier. An hour
So-
earlier.
What, an hour earlier?
You said you'd hang around for an hour.
Oh, well, no, I probably won't.
fine, I won't take it personally.
Yeah. Shit goes quick when you don't edge highlight.
Oof. I mean, at least he's done the trim.
They look nice.
They do look nice, mate.
So,
I kind of highlighted. Edge highlighted.
Did you?
Yeah. You can't see it very well, but it's there.
You can't see it, but it's there.
I didn't use paint or brushes.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, though, specifically, yes, you do pass the paint a lot faster when you don't do edge highlights.
I mean,
In
you
serious,
did a lot of it.
When I had less than a month to do 2,000 points of Space Marines within
The thing is, as well,
like 16 hours a week of painting.
You did
dare
loads
I
of
say,
edging, though.
Dare I say this? When you have the studio lights that we have, you don't need to edge highlight.
Yeah.
You just don't.
Also, if you use a satin varnish, life hack here for painting, if you use a satin varnish instead of a matte varnish, it edge highlights itself. Right? Because it uses the natural light to create reflections, which is kind of like, yeah.
Anyway, look forward to that tonight at 7:30. Come and join us for our first preview game of New Emperor's Children Codex versus Orcs. Tomorrow we're back also at 7:30 with the Warhammer show, and then Thursday we'll come back with another Liam, Joe, and probably Tom show.
Yeah, probably.
And then it's Joe and I on Thursday night with New Eldar versus Emperor's Children to see how they stack up as the two latest codexes. And then finally on Friday we'll have After
I
Dark.
do at some point want to run a game of Chaos Space Marines, but with Noise Marines in it. Because I reckon you'll be able to take them.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably.
Possibly. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, you wonderful human beings. Hopefully we'll see you tonight at 7:30. If not, we'll see you in the next one.
Bye, one at a time.
Bye.